everyone, and welcome to our stream for the final day of the Secret Space Program Super Soldier Conference. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a good week so far. I'm a rabbit, I guess, today, so that's appropriate. Sweet Lily Love, thanks for a 35 stream streak, says, getting in my daily Hannah intake, that's important. Nemesaur, how's it going? Mr. Blast, Beatrice Circe, Amber Pretzels, Demon Trigger, everyone else, how do? Hey, just a peach. How's everyone doing? If you're on YouTube, do me a favor, like the stream. Thumbs up helps discoverability. Let me get my housekeeping out of the way real quick before we get started. If you want to help the sub goal for the month, you can always gift subs on Twitch or become a subscriber yourself, and you won't have to deal with annoying ads anymore, which is very nice. We're also working towards our XXL stream month, where we're going to do 4 8-hour-long streams covering longer material we don't normally have the time to do. We're about a third of the way there, and I think that's about it. So, cool beans. Welcome, everyone, to another day of conspiratorial bullshit. We can play bingo if you guys would like, so you can get your bingo cards ready. I don't know if anyone will win because it is the Super Soldier stuff, so there's only so many topics they really cover. But if you'd like, feel free to grab yourself a bingo card and get cozy. We're going to do about 3 hours of, well, this. It's the last day of the Super Soldier Conference, and let's hope they saved the best for last. And hopefully we made it through all the virulent anti-Semites. But I guess we'll see. So, let's jump into it. Let me get the music turned off, and then we'll get her going. So, this is the third day. Unfortunately, we do not have the beginning part. Is the correct mic selected? Give me a sec. It's looking a little weird for me in the waveforms. Give me one sec. Says it is. Okay. Cool beans. So unfortunately, the first part of the first talk of the day is muted. This happened on one of the other days, too, on a talk we didn't actually end up watching. I don't know who's running the AV equipment there, but I guess super soldiers aren't trained to use cameras, because they stream muted for about the first 10 minutes, so I'm going to get us started right when the audio kicks in. So unfortunately, we do not have the introduction of this guy or the beginning of his talk, but we'll jump in right here in the middle. So let's go.
And, like, you pretty much will only find, like, the hippiest of the hippie at these drum circles, okay? They are, like, full...
It's a good place to come in.
Hippie regalia. I've got my linen shorts on with the flower of life, you know, etched into them, and I've got my crystals and my headdress and everything like that. And I'm at this drum circle, and I've got more crystals on at this drum circle than I did up here right now. And I'm wearing long linen shorts. I'm like full hippied out, got longer hair and everything. But I'm on the phone having a business call.
Businessman cosplaying as hippie is pretty funny. I'd like to, take the aesthetic of detachment from the material, but, what if I also just, really focused on material possessions, man? Jellyfish, thanks for a 30 stream streak, says I've got my cheese popcorn, let's watch the insanity. Ooh, yummy.
And I'm talking about money. I'm talking about, hey, you know, you can do this, you know, thing where you can make money, like, well, I'm talking about business stuff to this guy, talking about saying different figures of numbers, like different, you know, oh, you can make 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, blah, blah. And this lady is like staring at me like she wants to kill me. And I'm like, what is going on? But I didn't.
Lennon Cat with 40 bits says, considering how many hippies became MAGA, I think a lot of the originals did that as well. I think part of the problem is a lot of people think the hippie movement was bigger than it was. It was very specifically located in specific areas of the country during the 60s. Most kids of that era were not hippies. It was a very specific subculture. So boomers weren't all hippies. The vast majority were not. It was a niche subculture within that generation. So it's not necessarily that hippies became boomer assholes, though I'm sure plenty of them did. It's just that you hear more about hippies than you do straight-laced conservative kids of the same generation when they were that age.
Didn't really think about it too much. I was like, whatever, I'm in my own world, you know? And so I look, I'm like at the beach. I'm like, man, it's so beautiful. I'm on this business call. And I look back at this lady, and she is
I say that as not necessarily a fan of hippies, but
charging straight
it's kind of masturbatory and not really in service of any particular solutions to problems, but whatever. They were a bunch of kids. What are you gonna do? And they did a bunch of drugs and helped push countercultural narratives, which I guess is good. But a lot of them were just fucking douchebags.
at me, arms all the way out, and she pushes me into the sand and says, "We don't talk about that here. We're spiritual." And I'm like, what the heck just happened? I was talking about money, and a hippie just came and like rammed me into the sand and said, "No, we don't talk about money or business or anything here. We're spiritual." And I'm like, you are about to convert me out of being a hippie, man. I'm about to take these crystals and throw these into the ocean because like that was weird. But I'm honestly, like, when it actually happened, I was sitting there laughing because I realized
Jay's a Proxy says, I just noticed the flag. Is there a reason the blue is the blue is white and the stars are what looks like black? Yes, this is actually a flag that gets used by sovereign citizens sometimes as well in certain sovereign citizen groups and sects. They consider this the U.S. peacetime flag. I found some sources that claim that this was an actual historical thing that was tried to be pushed after the Revolutionary War ended to have a different flag after the conflict. That was more about peacetime, and then you'd have a different flag for wartime, which is our typical American flag. I don't know if any of that's true or if it's just apocryphal shit that sovereign citizens say, though. Either way, it's not any sort of official thing. The U.S. government does not consider it an actual flag. There is nothing in the flag code about it. It is not official in any capacity, but sovereign citizens and other conspiracy groups have sort of adopted it as a counter to the American flag. It's them saying, I'm patriotic about America, but not necessarily like literally America's government, more sort of ideals that they ascribe to America in a positive way. Does that make sense? Kind of like when Captain America became Nomad, I guess. Kind of. Not quite. You get it. I don't know.
this woman is in her own matrix. She's in her own matrix. The matrix is a system where they want you to think one way about everything, and that you don't.
The Matrix is when you're mad at me doing business at a spiritual retreat. I like that he turned. How do I put this? I like that he turned some lady being mad at him into a whole lesson. Like, he needed to really moralize this into something about her being trapped instead of like, hey, maybe I am too focused on this business thing while I'm supposed to be doing something to get in touch with myself. Now, I think hippie stuff is bullshit. I think the crystal stuff is bullshit. But I do find it a little hypocritical for you to try and be like, ooh, spiritual, material is irrelevant. I'm gonna get in touch with higher vibrations. And simultaneously, you're gonna try and do a business transaction all about the material. Just kind of makes you seem like an asshole that doesn't really know what they're doing.
Don't really have control. And this lady's matrix is that money is bad.
Yeah, Matrix on the bingo card.
And you can't talk about that if you're a spiritual person. And
I think it was more that you were on a retreat with her. But, whatever.
to me,
like, I assume that lady has bills she has to pay, so she probably talks about money sometimes, just not on the spiritual retreat.
That's a matrix that you're just bound to be stuck in. And honestly, I love that lady, but that story is wild to me. And so, people think it's other people who trap them in the matrix. They think it's the government and all this stuff, right? But it's not. It's not. It's your own
Uses AI as a free space again because of the cardboard cutout. They used AI to make it.
Unwillingness to take ownership that keeps you in the matrix. It's your own unwillingness to take ownership over your own power and take responsibility for the things that the universe has placed inside of you, the thoughts that you have caught from the source that fire you up. It's your inability to act on those and to truly own that keeps you right where they want you to be. And so, like the Matrix, the movie, The Matrix, right? A lot of
Oh no, he's actually gonna talk about it.
people think it's about the government. People think it's about the system that keeps you in the government, which it's actually true. Like it is. You can
It's about the writers who were trans. It's about being trans. Now, I'm all for death of the author. You could interpret The Matrix to be about all sorts of things, about basically anything that the Plato's Cave allegory is about. You know, the wool being pulled over your eyes. But, like, in the literal sense, it very much has a lot to do with the writers and directors being in the closet trans women at the time. So, you know, whatever.
definitely that's a perspective, but it's actually the programs running in your mind. See, I really wish I could just talk about Keanu Reeves stage for as long as I want, but that's not what this speech is about. At my next keynote, it'll be all about Keanu Reeves, I promise.
That's the most Reddit joke I've ever heard. Does anyone else like actor Keanu Reeves? The Narwhal Bacons at Midnight, am I right, Redditors? Up doots to the left. I also like Keanu.
But
Am I crazy? Just feels like performative fandom.
the movie The Matrix is about transcending your mind, okay? It's about transcending your mind and becoming free of all the programming that the system has created and creating a system for yourself. You know, escaping the matrix or whatever, right? Remember the line in the movie? Free your mind, Neo. Free your mind. See, money is not evil, guys. Money is not an evil thing.
Is this just gonna be this guy's rationalization for his love of money? Everyone needs money, man. They're not saying, and I don't think anyone said to you, you can't ever deal with money. The lady was trying to point out to you, in my view, that you're supposed to be on a spiritual retreat, and you're not really doing it if you're still working. That's it. It's not that deep. You don't even have to agree with her. I don't care either way. It just feels like you're really defensive about this in a way that's very, very uncomfortable for everyone having to listen to it. H. Baird with 40 bits says, I kind of want to show all of these people who misinterpret The Matrix both seasons of Sense8 and see what they think that show was about. That show's great. I like Sense8.
It's the meaning that you
It's about getting the song What's Going On stuck in your head.
project onto it.
Also, solid trans representation.
That makes it evil, though. And really, money is not a creation of the matrix, but the matrix of the mind creates the meaning that we place onto the money. And, you know, let me talk about spirituality for a second, because spirituality, what is it other than a transforming of our consciousness of all things, right? What is spirituality really except for, you know, transforming how you see the world and how you are conscious of everything, including money, right? And they're not opposites. They're not opposite things. You know, being spiritual and abundant or spiritual and rich, they are not opposites. I believe.
Yeah, what spiritual traditions anywhere in the world ever make a dichotomy between spiritual enlightenment and possessions in the material? Oh, most of them? Oh, okay, never mind.
That actually going and creating a business for.
That's like both major religious groups, the Abrahamic religions and the Dharmic religions, have things about, like, not becoming attached to worldly material.
Real is an opportunity to increase in your spirituality 100%, because there's a lot of ego that gets involved with that. And so what does that ego look like? You know, we see this all the time. There's a lot of, you know, big business guys. There's a lot more billionaires in the world than there has been in all of history as far as we know.
You would have to compare. It's not a one-to-one. They weren't using American cash. And also what you could do with the money back in the day was very different. The economic system was different. That's just a very stupid thing to say. That's a thing that you say that immediately procs a red flag of this person should not be trusted, because that entire sentence was just, what?
And so that makes me really think about Andrew
I am glad after today we can take a break from the super soldier people for a while, because I've had enough of them over the last couple weeks. I have seen so much of this crap.
Carnegie. That's a familiar name to some people. So this guy, Andrew Carnegie, was at the time in like the 1900s, like 18 or late 1800s
I don't like. I'm gonna switch this. I don't want to look at myself. Holy shit. Dysphoria's doing bad today,
or
fam.
early 1900s,
Doing real bad.
the richest man in the world. In today's money, they say he created $700 billion. $700 billion.
I really hate that he's using the word created $700 billion. He did not create $700 billion. He was able to funnel it through the work of his employees into his own pockets.
Richest man in the world at the time. And he grew up he grew up poor, but ended up building his entire success on the backs of other people. He was criticized for working people long hours with low pay and keeping people stuck in his factories working for the steel business. But later in his life, he realized, he was like, oh my God, maybe it's not all about this. And he wrote the book called The Gospel of Wealth. The Gospel of Wealth is a book that's about how super wealthy people have a moral obligation to give back. And so in the later part of his life, he ended up donating 90% of his wealth. Remember, 700 billion, 90% of that, to building universities, libraries, schools, and giving other people the opportunities that he had to get massively wealthy, to get education, to get, wealthy. And it's funny because like this is an amazing story, but this was like 100 or 200 years ago. Okay. It's like, all right, whatever, outdated.
Maybe we should just make it government policy that the ultra wealthy have their wealth to some extent taxed, so that then that money can go towards the public good. Wow. Bumble Homestead with a 40 stream streak says, do these people ever talk about any training in the humanities they get in other dimensions or whatever? No, pretty much just plots from movies they've seen.
But this happened again with another person 100 years later. George Foreman, the amazing boxer.
I don't think George Foreman's ever been worth $700 billion. The grills aren't that good.
The guy that was like, just absolutely crushing it, partying, making millions, going crazy, buying all the cars, the watches, this and that, fully enveloped in the Matrix, fully in there. And he lost it all, unfortunately. And when he had a near-death experience in the locker room, passing out, hitting his head, he had an encounter with God. And he
Does George Foreman claim that? If I trust anyone's spiritual experiences after hitting their head, it's a person who professionally gets punched in the face for a living.
realized,
If you can't trust people with severe systemic brain damage, who can you trust?
oh my God, I'm doing this all for myself, but what if there's something bigger than this? And so he went under the radar for a couple years. He became a preacher in churches. He became a pastor and started to share the gospel. Then he resurfaces with the George Foreman grill that is now on the countertops of millions of Americans.
And now we're in the 2000s. I feel like the peak of the George Foreman grill was probably 2003. That's a guess. I pulled that out of my ass. But it's a vibe-based era. That's probably when that was at peak. And also, George Foreman didn't invent the George Foreman grill. I don't know who needs to hear that. George Foreman did not invent the George Foreman grill. He was a spokesperson. They paid him money to put his name on it. It was like putting him on a Wheaties box. He just got real lucky with that one.
And he creates millions of dollars. They say it was
Cyberchill, thanks for rating. Go check out Cyberchill here on Twitch.
$200 million that he generated with that. and he gave it all, like 50% of it, 60% of it, a large
All of it, like 50 or 60%. So, not all.
majority of his money to building YMCAs, building other youth centers, building churches, all this stuff. And so these guys, these guys went from loving money. These guys went from fully enveloped in attachment to material things and losing it all. Well, for George Foreman, to
He
loving
didn't. He
people.
what? He didn't lose it all, though. What are you talking about? What are you talking? Even in the story you just told, he didn't lose it all. He gained millions and millions of dollars. He just happened to donate a portion of it. He did not anywhere in that story lose it all. What are you talking about? H-Bird says, since we're getting into conspiracy theories about 2000s era products, I'm predicting that all super soldiers got their super training with a shake weight, then after their workouts dried off with a sham wow, and then they cozy up with a Snuggie. Snuggies are pretty good, actually. Memes aside, they're pretty comfortable. What's this man's thesis? I don't know the point. Basically, a woman made him feel insecure about the fact that he's into hustle culture and made him feel like that's antithetical to a spiritual mission. So now he needs to defensively go up on stage and talk about how actually he can be spiritual and a douchebag. Carpcosian with a 7-stream streak says, a cat fell asleep on my chest. Also, I hope your dysphoria dissipates. Thank you. I hope I grow a different head. That's cute. Enjoy the cat.
And building it all back with purpose, right? They did not let money go. They didn't let the life of making money go when they realized, oh my God, being rich is like, and being greedy is bad. They didn't let it go, but they just transformed their perception of it, right? They were not choosing to be takers anymore. They were choosing to be creators. And so, really, the big idea here is that we need to love people and use money, not the other way around. Because when you love money and use people, that's when things get twisted. That's when you start getting into things that make you feel like life is worthless, even though you have 10 cars and 10 houses and whatever you want. You start to feel empty when you.
What if the human condition is just to be profoundly uncomfortable most of the time until you die? And it's not like a mistake. That's just is what it is. I'm projecting my own problems onto others in that statement, I'm aware.
When you live like this. And so when you use your money when you use your money for legacy like that, like Andrew Carnegie did and George Foreman, you create freedom for generations to come. You create freedom for generations to come. And so a lot of people, though, they're like, well, this sounds great and everything, but like, how do we just live that life? How do we, create massive wealth, but not get into the whole, oh, I love this Lamborghini, or like, I really, just want to be in my mansions with all my 10 hot wives and just not talk to anybody and whatever. Like,
That's
how
just the autistic experience. I'll have you know, I've never been diagnosed, and I'm in abject denial. So I won't even Google coping mechanisms, so everything is just a nightmare all the time. So who's the winner now? Me, probably.
a lot of guys that get rich or women that get rich, they just kind of get stuck in this life of money. And the easy way to get out of the cycle of attachment is just to realize that all this stuff, it's not really ours. Like, it's not really staying with us for the rest of our lives, and definitely not when we leave this place. It's all on loan to us from the universe. All we're doing is experiencing the wealth. We're experiencing the wealth and experiencing the material things, and it's just our turn to experience it. And so when you lose something that has a major value to you, or you think about, giving a massive amount of money, you're like, that will be a sacrifice. That's going to be a lot of money that's coming out of my bank account to give to these people. Just like, you know what? It's their turn to experience this. And practice.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I just have no sympathy for some wannabe rich asshole. I don't even think he's rich. Presumably he wants to be, talking about how hard it is to give away some of your vast wealth to other people. You're not even rich, man. This is just pathetic. Like, just go be a person. Stop worrying about wealth you're never going to accrue. This is ridiculous. Fennikagami with the 20 stream streak. Thank you.
Something that's really worked for me is if you have a collection of something, for me, it's crystals, right? But if you have like a...
Hey, crystals are a cool geological thing. I'm assuming he's not collecting it because cool rocks. I assume it's because magic.
Collection. Find, or just anything that is of value. Or you want to buy something for somebody, figure out what that is. Make sure it's a sacrifice that you're going to give away. Because what I mean here is, like, I have a crystal collection. And when I started making good money, I was like buying a lot of crystals, way too much money on crystals, like way too much. And so I'm like, I am like attached to these crystals. Like, I do not want to get rid of them. I hope they never go away. This one's mine forever. Don't touch my crystals. Like, this is my stuff. And I was like, this is not healthy. I have to stop doing that. And so I realized, like, okay, I'm going to do something really hard. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at all my crystals and say, which one is my favorite one? Okay, this one. I'm giving it away. I'll go to someone's house and like give them a crystal, and I'll be like, this one's for you, because
okay, look, I'm all for like not going crazy with your collection. Clearly I'm great at that. Pause for the punchline is obviously I have no standards. But why would you give me your favorite one? Do the opposite. Find things that you're like, I don't really care about this, and then you give that away. Why would you give away your favorite ones? Overthought with 100 bits says they just have to narrow it down to the justifiably owned crystals, or the JO crystals, if you will. Like, if I was gonna give away a Blu-ray, I'd probably pick a random one I don't give that much of a shit about. Like, I wouldn't give them, I don't know, the Doctor Who movie, which I care about. Hannah mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card.
Because you have to practice things like that before you get massively wealthy and all this. When it's really hard to do it at that point, you have to start practicing non-detachment. So how can you practice that in your life, right? So
all right, I'm gonna skip ahead and see what the fuck the next guy's talking about, because he's just talking about how he thinks people shouldn't judge him for wanting a bunch of money.
To go and create money within the matrix, right? The dreams that the universe has placed inside of you, because when you do
manifest the dreams the universe has placed inside you. The universe can't place anything inside me without my express consent.
Hang on. Okay, hang on. Thank you so much, Doug. We love you. Okay, can you hear me still, guys, or no? We're good? Or is that loud enough? No? Check. You guys tell me if that's good. Is that good? Can you everybody hear us okay? Who can hear us? Good? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well. Oh, no.
Yeah, to hold that. This lovely lady, Carrie Cassidy, I don't think she needs an introduction, but
staggering levels of hypocrisy for the last guy. Thanks, Ryan Cooper.
we are going to do that because she's, we all know who she is.
Is this the pet medium from the other day? It might be. She looks familiar.
Welcome, guys. Super Soldier Activation Conference 2025 with Carrie Cassidy. Put your hands together. Woo!
Hi, everyone. Sorry if it was a bit of a late start here because everything I guess went crazy, but here we are. And now I've got a bunch of presentations, kind of like I want to jump from one to the other and see if they all fit into your worldview. And
oh, that's good. We're not even going to do one presentation. She's going to mix and match. That's good. You could have created a mega presentation that you planned between all of them instead of impromptu jumping between them, but that's effort, so.
Where you want to go from here. So we're really in a fight for humanity, and if you don't know that, you probably wouldn't be here, right? So, okay, yeah, so maybe move this over closer. Okay, there we go. Is that better? Okay, so basically, what I'm going to do first of all, this is kind of, you might call a call to action. sort of trying to galvanize everyone to understand where we're at and maybe how you can contribute right now. And now let me ask a couple questions. How many people are familiar with my work in the audience? Okay, a good smattering. And then there's a few that aren't, right? So just so I have to clarify, I'm an investigative reporter, documentary filmmaker. I've been doing this for 20 years, which is crazy.
I'd love to see her documentary films. My goodness. Also, I figured out how to cure the dysphoria. We did it. Yay.
But it's been a wild ride. And I specialize on whistleblowers from above top secret. And so I'm rather unusual in that respect. Okay, what I mean is military, ex-military, people in roles of authority, aerospace, intelligence agents who never really quit, right? Once a CIA, always a CIA.
I'm kind of assuming that she's talking to super soldier people who are full of shit and not real ones. Just a guess. Can I still read you enough?
And I'm sure we have somebody in the audience that's monitoring me properly. But this is the new days, not the old days. So you don't even have to send a person in person, right? They can just be, they're watching me, right? And they were trying to mess with me earlier, but I got some good stuff going on. So they're not able to quite take complete control. Okay, so anyway, so just saying, so the bottom line here is I'm just going to be saying some pretty outrageous things. I might be the most outrageous, edgy person that you've ever met.
There was a Holocaust denier on the day prior, so I don't know about that. Hats off. What's the depraved ambiance? What do you want for the hats off?
And I'm not saying that lightly because people tell.
Which hat? That helps. That'll hide my horrifying hairline that's distracting me. I really need to get the surgery where they slice my fucking skull. Not my skull. My scalp. And then they pull it down. I'm very not doing well today.
Tell me that. Okay, so, you know, and I spoke a couple days ago at a New York conference. It was very small in Long Island, the Awakening Conference. And what I said, like, eyes were opening, like, I don't know what they thought. But anyway, so the bottom line here is I'm going to be revealing more about the battle we're actually fighting, because I think that a lot of people just actually don't even know the different sides that are operational and why
they the cardboard cutouts AI generated.
Do the things.
They use AI all the time. They have a terrible super soldier theme song I've showed you guys.
They do. This is the trouble. No one explains why Trump makes some crazy decision to take over Greenland, for example, or, you know, or England, right? Or wherever, okay? Which he is basically moving to take control of the whole, I don't know if you call it the North American continent, but that includes, you know, South America. So
that's not the North American continent. That's South America.
What's this whole continental?
Orion Cooper with the $2 super chat says nice things about me that I don't want to repeat. Okay, I will shut up about my dysphoria if people don't say nice things about me. Deal? Fair. Okay.
Portion of the world, all right?
I'm sorry I'm letting my brain worms get to me today. I know that's not fun. I know it's bad. I know.
And that's actually what he's actually doing. So we're talking about Iceland, Greenland, where we already have a military presence, substantial, which a lot of it is underground, and it leads to the North Pole, okay? And they go in and out of the North Pole, and I even have a witness who has gone on a trip. If you have seen him, his last name is Hendricks. He's a very unusual man. And he was involved in the military. He was taken on a plane and flew into the North Pole and saw, you know, things like dinosaurs and really amazing stuff. And
I think the dinosaurs would probably freeze to death at the North Pole. You know, I'm not an expert on dinosaurs, but...
And was there for, I think it was maybe 24 to 48 hours. and it was like another civilization. So take it for what it's worth. He showed up at a conference. He was a very quiet spoken man. He disappeared completely, so I don't have his name, phone number anymore, right? But
Well,
I do.
that's convenient for your story, isn't it? This story definitely happened with this guy who told me all sorts of incredible things. I can't prove it to you. I can't contact him or show you that he's even a real person. But I promise he saw dinosaurs at the North Pole. They were right next to Santa's workshop.
Had the video interview with him. So this is the kind of thing that goes on. I have to pick and choose. You know, I know you're hearing a lot of super soldiers or people that think they're super soldiers or so on and so forth. Not to say they aren't, but proof is really hard to come by. So
I feel like the one rule at the Super Soldier Conference has gotta be you're not allowed to question whether or not people are actually super soldiers, right? She's gotta be breaking a major taboo. Like, that's the whole delusion that melds these people together. You're not allowed to question that.
you have to, especially my job, rely on your intuition, your psychic ability, what I get.
Yeah, as a reporter, I don't know if psychic ability really rates among important qualities.
And I'm so lucky in that I really get some great stuff. And it turns out to be true later down the line. But I have to risk it, okay? So I risk my own judgment, and I'm not shy about doing that. Okay, so here we go. So you know that Trump announced the Space Command was going to move from Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama. Now, whenever they do anything, and Trump, it's Trump, Q,
I'm sure all those people will be thrilled they're moving to Alabama. Just a Peach says, being the North Pole is mostly water. How do you fly into it?
the white hat military, okay,
She just meant that they landed there.
and Wano South.
Or maybe she thinks it's like in the Santa Claus franchise where like the ground opens up and there's a whole underground layer. That's more seen in the Santa Claus 2, the escape, or no, the Mrs. Claus. Santa Claus 3 is the escape clause with Martin Short. That one's terrible, but I'm obsessed with it for some reason.
So that's, you could just think of that as kind of like a little group, and they are supposed to be the good guys, all right? They're supposed to be saving humanity and our sovereignty here on earth. And also, they're supposed to be revealing the enemies who have been trying to keep humanity enslaved.
This definitely sounds like QAnon stuff. I don't think she said the words QAnon yet, but a lot of this falls relatively neatly into QAnon narratives, just with added super soldier stuff.
All these millions of years, and they have a tough job to do.
You like the Santa Claus 3? I like it, mostly because it feels like an episode of like an unmade The Santa Claus TV series. Now, bear in mind, I know they did later actually make a Santa Claus TV series that's terrible and horrifying, which I've talked about before. But like 3 just feels like a time waster. It's a good holiday movie when you have family over and no one's really going to watch the movie except for like moments where maybe no one's saying anything or whatever and it's just on. It's a good background holiday movie.
They're going into
Yeah, they made a Santa Claus TV series on Disney Plus. It's not good.
underground bases.
Elf is better. I like Elf, but Baja does not like Elf. So Elf is not a movie that I can do that with often on, you know what I mean? I try to pick movies that everyone likes, and she doesn't like Will Ferrell very much, so.
We hear, okay, if you know Gene Decode, he describes this, and he's a military guy. He's part of their team, and he is describing rescuing children from underground bases. And just to make this clear, that there are tons of underground bases all over the earth. It's like honeycombed, if you will. And the reptilian bases are
Reptilians on the bingo card.
actually under our bases. So So when you think there's a battle going on, it's not necessarily in the reptilian base, but that is where they keep their nests, which contain children.
Why would you keep your children in a military base specifically? Like, why would you? That's like building your entire town's school system or daycares into a military base. That doesn't make any sense.
Sorry to say this, okay? But you have to, I'm just trying to get this clear for people.
The Santa Claus movie with Dudley Moore is the best. I actually like that movie too. It's a little odd, but I do like it. John Lithgow is a really great villain in it, and the guy that plays Santa Claus in it, he played the Big Lebowski in the Big Lebowski. He played the Lebowski guy. I forget his name. Either way, he plays a pretty good Santa Claus in that.
Now,
yeah, they're talking about DUMBs, or deep underground military bases, which is a conspiracy theory that says that under military bases and a lot of places in the country, there are secret tunnels that the military built that go like from not just like one area to another, but state to state, continent to continent. Have you ever seen Men in Black International? Which is a terrible Men in Black movie, by the way. But in that movie, they have an underground like tube system that can send you from New York to like the UK in like minutes. They think it's like that, kind of.
How many people have ever heard of Courtney Brown and his remote viewers? Okay, pretty good. So what happens is one of his remote viewers, he's very astute, happens to be his son, Aziz, actually had a remote viewing of an underground base where there was an arena.
Remote viewing is when they close their eyes and say, I can see this thing or that thing. It's your imagination. You're imagining things visually.
I'm sorry if you're shy or have, things can offend you.
Which is particularly funny to me as someone with aphantasia. I can't picture things in my head. It's all words. So the idea that someone pictures something in their head and they go, I'm really seeing the thing, is particularly comedic.
But whatever. I'm just telling you what he said. He said he went, and he's not even a fan of Camelot. Okay, he probably doesn't even know who I am. So the thing is that he remote viewed this area where there was an arena. There were, I think, 1 or 2 children in the middle of the arena where all eyes were on them, and they were witnessing them being tortured. And I'm not going to go into a graphic description here, but if you...
Ashley One Up says, I'm remote viewing right now. There are McDonald's on the moon serving aliens. Can you ask them to bring me chicken nuggets?
Use your imagination.
And fries, extra salt.
A bunch of military men came in with machine guns in through a tunnel, and they basically blasted the entire audience, the entire sick, motherfucking audience, and killed them all. You understand? And rescued the children.
Woo! Made up story! Let's go! Gitara says, how have the super soldiers reacted to the aliens approaching us via 3-Eye Atlas? Weren't these people bred and trained to fight aliens or whatever? They haven't brought it up at this conference, but I have seen other conspiracy theorists talking about it.
This is what this remote viewer, and he actually was able to put it online. So that's pretty radical. It's very hard to get any graphic, specific description. And the remote viewers, there are 2 main groups. I guess you know who they are, and maybe you don't.
Your order has been placed. Please let us know your credit card numbers for delivery. 6.
One is called Future Forecasting.
My security code is 9.
Group. Dick Algier is kind of the ringleader in a sense, and he is a remote viewer going back, working for the military back in the day, okay? And Daz Smith is another one, military remote viewer now working for the public in theory. They use their skills to remote view where the market's going to go, okay? But they also do...
That's just psychic ability. Remote viewing would be seeing things happening now, seeing where the market's gonna go, is predicting the future. That's not remote viewing, that's psychic ability. How do I know the vocabulary better than her?
Do all kinds of stuff, woo-woo stuff as they call it, and so on and so forth. So sometimes they actually get the future right, and sometimes they are a little vague. Remote viewing is a little weird this way. I actually have a sort of a short, attention span, or not. What I do is I remote view the remote viewers. So I like to look at what
Who views the viewers? This lady, I guess. All right. It's accountability in the imaginary sense, I suppose.
they're doing. It's like
Just remote viewers all the way down.
a game for me. I just find it interesting. And I want to see how accurate they are, number one, how much they really tell you, number two. You understand? Because I'm tracking as an investigative journalist that I feel like I work for the people. So I'm out on the front lines for you.
I'm actively offended on behalf of journalists that she's calling herself an investigative journalist.
Making sure
Investigative journalism is dead. It has been for decades. You don't get to revive it, ma'am. You're just a crazy person.
they, whether it's the dark side or the light side, tell you the truth. That's what I do. Okay? So some people think I'm a bitch and pushy and whatever, but the thing is that someone's got to do it. Okay, and I find that these people will sort of weasel under, the wire and not tell you the real truth. So I watch them, and I also like to see when they're taken over, when they don't know they're being taken over, when they're being distracted, and so on and so forth. So when you hear a remote viewer, you watch them, you need to really watch them like a hawk. And you need to also check in with yourself. Does that sound real? Does that sound true?
What if my senses tell me that the entire concept of remote viewing and, in fact, super soldiers doesn't pass the sanity test? Do you still stand by that statement?
And analyze it. So that's what I do. And so I just want to say that, sometimes they're wrong. And this is the thing about.
She claims she's an investigative journalist, but she believes far too much with far too little evidence. Let's call that a vibes-based journalism.
I wonder.
Everything's vibes-based. No one wants to put in any effort. Everything is just the laziest surface-level form of the thing. I hate it.
If I should say his name. Well, there's a certain guy who has a web bot, and that is checking out on all humans, right? On the internet.
I'm sorry, did you just say that he has a bot that's checking in on all humans? He doesn't, but even if he did, that would be very illegal. What are you talking about?
And it reads the internet, and then it sends him data. So he likes to pretend that he's such a genius, but actually his web bot is the genius, bringing him your information. Hello? Because we are not.
What are the chances that guy's just talking to Chat GPT and engaging in a role play and he doesn't understand? Like, he's like, you are my web surfing robot. I want you to find me, you bring me a report on all humanity. And then, it's a chat bot, so it just manufactures bullshit. It just strings words together that sound right, and the guy believes it.
Natural
You found the real source of his info?
Are you walking a difficult life path, alone and uncertain? Are you traveling in darkness and possible danger? There are...
Do not call this number. It is almost certainly a sex line now.
Companion.
Pretty much all 1-900 numbers turned into sex lines. Actually, we're probably past that era now. It's probably all been replaced by cam sites. So this phone number's probably just dead.
Who can see in the
Still don't call it.
dark, hear in the silence, and sense the winds of change. You are not alone. Call the Psychic Advisor Network and find your way to a brighter future.
Speak live with genuine psychics. Hear their predictions for your life and future.
Call 1-900-903-6000, $2 per minute, adults only.
precogs. Think about this.
The only good line. Hold on. The only good 1-900 line was the Freddy Krueger one.
I'm Freddy Krueger, your worst nightmare come alive. And now I'm on your telephone. Dial this number now and I'll tell you Freddy's favorite bedtime stories. Gruesome new tales of murder and mayhem. Frightful heartstoppers of pain and gore. So dial this number now if you dare. And prepare for a scare. Freddy Krueger has a special message just for...
And the Freako guy. Whatever the fuck his name was.
This. If we weren't, would we even be alive on the planet right now? If we didn't have some sixth or seventh, eighth senses that told us a lion was coming around the corner or whatever it was back in the day, or a dragon or whatever you want to call it. So
I would never call a lion a dragon.
What I'm saying here is that this is a funny thing. A lot of people get credit for what you do and what you are, okay? So I just want to set the record straight, and that goes for remote viewers as well who sometimes get it wrong, okay? But we'll never tell you when they're wrong, okay? Now, there's a few really good ones and honest ones. Dad Smith, in my opinion, is one of the best. He's also one of the most honest. He's very humble.
Jordan Peterson did call lions dragons, but Jordan Peterson melted his own brain, so we probably shouldn't listen to him. Freddy Freaker, that's his name. Thank you. Recently, in the last couple of years, someone made a movie based on that called Frankie Freako. That's loosely based on the concept. It was okay. It wasn't as good as their previous film, Psycho Goreman, but it was still pretty good. Orion Cooper with the $2 super chat says, I called it, Hannah. 'Tis a dead line. Rip. Thanks for the update.
He's very,
it's important to know. You'd think they would have seen that coming and planned accordingly, because, psychic.
Good guy. And I've actually, asked him direct questions a few times. But they have other people as guests, but guess who they won't have as a guest? Me. So I also did study briefly remote viewing. I'm a psychic already. I have my own, abilities, and I'm also a precog. But
did you study The Blade?
I basically...
Also, they steal so much shit from movies. Precog. That's from Minority Report, which I'm not going to take the time to pull it. I have it somewhere. Surprise. I own a movie. Minority Report is the pre-crime movie, and the psychics that they use in order to do the pre-crime are called precogs. They're just stealing words from movies and acting like they made up the mythology or that it's real.
I use remote viewing.
If she's a precog, does that mean her parents were drug addicts? If it works like the movie, she'd have to be.
Sporadically, but it works.
It's Cruise's best film. Not a fan of Cocktail.
It does work.
I don't know if I've seen enough Tom Cruise movies to make that call. I've not seen Risky Business still. I'll watch Risky Business and let you know.
And I've had some pretty stunning, revelations along those lines. But I just say, I see psychic and intuitive abilities, etc., on like a continuum. So it's not like they're not really. They like you to think they're a separate, little thing where you just do what you're told and you just follow protocols and so on. That's not actually.
He's good in Magnolia, although that it's not just a Tom Cruise movie. He is in it though. He's pretty good in Magnolia.
Completely true. A lot of the best remote viewers are psychics. Okay, like Joe McMahon.
I guess I don't understand the distinction she's making. I guess to her, psychic ability is just seeing the future, and remote viewing is a separate thing. Psychic often is colloquially used as an umbrella term under which many different supernatural abilities are placed, like telekinesis, pyrokinesis, remote viewing, seeing the future. But that's fine.
Monagle, I'll give you one example there. Price, forget his first name, who's passed on.
You thought psychics read minds? That's ESP.
And so on. So there are certain ones that really are ready were psychics. Okay. All right. So back to this. So when you look at something like this and you get it, it's news, right? So you get something in the news that says Trump has just decided to go over to Alabama and move everything over there. Well, what you don't know is that they're playing a game, the dark side and the white side, or the light side, and don't take, this is not about the color of the skin or anything. This is, they call them white hats. Part of where we got the white hat idea is because Paladin, who was a forensic financial investigator, and some of the white hats, way before they went public originally, when they basically started a website, and it was called the White Hats Report. And that's back when I was working with them. So I started working with them around 2010. Okay, so look how long I've been watching these people, like white on rice. Okay, so even around that time, 107 actually did come forward, but he came forward under Wayne Willett, and Wayne Willett probably was also doing some shows. So there's two guys. There's 107, who's JFK Jr., and I've met him in person.
She thinks 107's JFK Jr.? That's interesting. Normally they think it's that Vincent Fusca guy that got mentioned in the previous one.
Talk with him at length, and he knows that I'm out here saying he's JFK Jr. He never contradicted me, and
he never said he wasn't JFK Jr. For the record, if anyone needs to hear this, I am not JFK Jr. I didn't think this would come up, but apparently it's a thing that can come up. I am not JFK Jr.
Tell that whole story if people are interested much later. But
isn't 107 involved with Q? Yes, he is in the QAnon community.
Bottom line is he and Trump are like good best friends, okay? And so you've got the hidden guy, which is 107, wearing a Santa Claus outfit for all intents and purposes, big fat stomach, now big long white beard. I don't know if he's cut it lately. Big cowboy hat, boots, 2 pairs of pants, having a bodysuit, a whole mask, like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. So just wrap your mind around that. And I've got photos on my site I'm not supposed to have, that I took my...
Do you just have photos of a larger guy with a beard and you're like, that's him in a fat suit? That's what I'm picturing.
Self, okay, in person, because this is my philosophy. A lot of my colleagues know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So that John F. Kennedy Jr. was trained as a lawyer because his mother didn't want him to become an actor. Well, it looks like he became both. So he gives legal advice to Trump. And, he's one of the people that Trump really listens to. He gets phone calls, even when he's on shows sometimes, from Trump. Really. So, Nino is his little protege, that kind of thing. And, he's a very sweet, loving man, the real John F. Kennedy Jr., okay? And I have been told by certain people that are in the know that he is above a general level, okay?
To be clear, I also want to point out, JFK Jr., while he was alive, was a Democrat. He was a Democrat. He was running for political office as a Democrat, but for some reason, in the Q fantasies, he is not only secretly alive, but he is teamed up with Donald Trump. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
In the white hat military. He was trained in the military, went into the military during the time when he was supposedly dead, right?
Oh, dead celebrity is secretly alive on the bingo card.
After 1999. So that's the story. That's the backbone of the white hats, the people that are working to save your ass and to save the United States. So if you don't know that, then you're going to look at Trump, even if you consider yourself a MAGA member, you're just going to go, what crazy thing is he up to now? It's not like that, okay? He's working with over 200 generals.
He's not acting crazy, guys. He's just secretly working behind the scenes with dead, not dead politicians in order to usher in the golden age. What don't you get about that? He's not just a narcissistic dipshit. He's a super genius working with the military.
Okay, that put him in office, first of all. And a bunch of, psychics, remote viewers, you name it. Okay. And I offered to help, to work for them, but they wouldn't let me sign anything. He said it was quote unquote too late. This was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And, it's never too late to get a person to work for you.
How is bulldozing half the White House to build an opulent ballroom advancing the super soldier project? What, you think super soldiers don't like parties? And gaudy gilding?
Is it? Or a supporter. And what I just want to make a big point of is that they're never going to save this world, this earth.
He is crazy. Donald Trump to me is it was already pretty evident, but Donald Trump is the final proof that America will let rich people do anything they want, no matter what. Like, period blank, end of, the American project has ultimately been in service in creating a country that allows rich people to hold not just most of the power, but all of the power, and do literally whatever they want as long as they have enough money. A machine is for what it does, and that's what the American machine does, is it gives a select few terrible people unimaginable wealth and lets them ruin the lives of basically everyone else in pursuit of whatever narcissistic projects they have in mind. That's it. That's America.
Without you. Think about that. You are very important. And I know we don't have a huge audience here, but over the years, back in the day, I had 70 million viewers on YouTube. And before they actually deleted my channel overnight because of one sentence that Robert David Steele said about COVID back in 2021. And I'd been a YouTube director, creator for 20 years, almost 20 years at that point. So that's how sick it is. And if anyone is going to get a class action suit and actually get all the money that Trump just got, hello, I'm over here, because I had a huge YouTube channel that they just wiped off the map. Okay?
I love when they whine about their YouTube channels getting deleted,
So-
especially within the context of some larger political thing, like talking about Trump and like this belief that, oh, they're gonna destroy all the evildoers, but also it's really important my YouTube channel got deleted. Hydrate.
What I'm trying to say here is that we are their support. You are the warriors, okay? And that's why the super soldier image is very important, and thank you so much, James Rink. And so I want to say that once you realize that, and that you're saving the world for your children, right? Most important. And make sure that your children know the truth. I know it's difficult to tell children these sophisticated things like someone's out to get them, etc. But
that's not sophisticated. You think it's sophisticated to be a paranoid whack job and tell your children, the cabal's coming to get ya? That's not sophisticated. That's nuts. You think that's sophisticated? What do words mean?
It's true. And if you don't know this, I have tons of whistleblower testimony, and they all...
Yes, I'm a sophisticate. I spend a lot of time on 8kun.
Coincide. None of them know each other, but they ended up tell me the same story. Military people that are blown away, because we've got reptilians standing guard in underground bases on the military side. We've got Greys. Richard Allen Miller, he's here. He's a wonderful man. He's a brilliant physicist. I've interviewed him over dozens of times.
Oh boy, I'm assuming by physicist she means the Terrence Howard kind and not, the real kind.
He says to me. And he is basically one of the good guys. He's a white hat. He works for Navy intelligence. Basically, Navy intelligence more or less runs this secret space force, you name it. Okay, so they're kind of like the top rung. Although it may have changed since then because now we have Space Force being kind of in charge and so on and so forth. So let me get back to this. I'm sorry, every slide I could talk for an hour. But anyway.
Please don't. A lot of way less organized today. Have you noticed that? Way less organized than the previous days in terms of the talks. Maybe it's random. We've only really gotten to 2 so far, but it really feels scattered. The others felt like they had more of a point, even when that point was horrible anti-Semitism.
The bottom line here is that Tina, forgetting her last name, but anyway, wait 1 second. Okay, so Tina is someone who found out about the steal. She was working looking at the ballot things and taking pictures and getting the real evidence for the steal. And they arrested her, put her in prison. She's like, I don't know, in her
Feels like we're missing some pieces of that story. When you say she was looking at ballots, was she legally authorized to do this, or did she just, oh, we're talking about Tina Peters. Oh, okay, yeah, that'll do it.
70s
Fuck.
or 80s or something like this. And she's been languishing in jail all this time, several years.
Good. She should stay there for the rest of her life.
Actually, which is incredible. And she should have, when Trump came back into office, as far as I'm concerned, she should have been released from jail, boom, like that. Okay.
That's not how things work. Doesn't she have state charges? I'm sure if it's federal stuff, Trump probably would have already pardoned her. I'm assuming they were state charges, which Trump has no power over, luckily. Ugh.
Okay. But one of the sort of stumbling blocks that we have is that the white hats are trying to do things legally, whereas the
the gap between how these people perceive the Trump administration and the reality of it gets larger every day.
dark hats don't give a shit, okay? And they'll do anything to get their way. And that includes people like the mob who work for them, and so forth. So you can't, you have to kind of look at this.
The mob, is it 1975? Like I know that the mob, I'm sure, still exists, but I don't think it has the influence it had decades and decades ago. I feel like you're overstating the influence the mob has. Even something pop culturally like The Sopranos from the early 2000s. A big theme in The Sopranos is how the mob, from its sort of like golden era from the 20th century, mid to mid-late 20th century, had ended. So by the time of like the early 2000s, the people who were in the mob were running much less impressive racketeering operations, right? It's just not what it used to be. She's very much pulling from the lexicon of the 20th century in terms of villains to cast in your fantasy conspiracy. The mob is a very mid-20th century concern to slot into this
situation and understand that the Trump white hats don't always do everything legally. They do a lot of things that's hidden. So we don't know if they're actually following a law, but it's really hard to fight an enemy who's not following laws, and then you are. You understand? But
they're the good guys, everyone! They're definitely doing everything legally.
But it's perception.
That's why their figurehead has almost, what is it? Is it 32 or 28? I don't remember. Felonies? Fuck me. We're so fucked. Everything's fucked.
Of the American people. Now, I have a big issue with this. So moving Space Force out of, a lot of the space stuff out of Colorado was like basically the fortress where all of our secret space, heavy duty space stuff all resides, in case you don't know that, especially Colorado Springs, really. But all of you know about the Denver airport, I guess. So what we're talking about is the reason they did that.
Maybe I'm crazy, but it feels like having, like, and I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, it's whatever, but moving a secure military facility that handles a lot of, like, space-based infrastructure. That's mostly what Space Force does. They handle, like, the military's array of, like, communication and intelligence satellites and stuff like that. Kind of feels like having them situated in the center of the country, away from the coasts, makes more sense than sticking them in Alabama, much closer to a coast. Like, again, I don't think World War III is gonna happen or anything. I'm just saying, like, if I was playing a strategy game, I wouldn't put it closer to the coast. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know why I even brought that up.
In part, and I'm sure there's maybe some other more covert reasons, is because Tina was being kept in jail, in prison, and they would not release her, and they couldn't get any kind of motion through the courts to get her out, okay, so far. And so payback is Trump just decided, just to move everything out of there. What does that do? It takes jobs away from the Colorado people. The trouble with Colorado right now is that even though it was the bastion of the Space Force and the space program, secret space program, mostly underground, is that jobs. Okay, so the jobs are leaving, and that way, what they're trying to do is use you. Okay, so again, it's the people that suffer. So they're using you to suffer so that you will go against your government in Colorado, complain, and say, what the fuck is going on? What happened to my job, right?
That's crazy that you think that that's gonna be how anyone in Colorado would react to losing their job based on a unilateral decision made by Donald Trump.
And why did you make Trump so pissed off that he just moved everything?
That's insane that she thinks that's how anyone would perceive the situation. What? As if Trump is a rational actor? No one perceives it that way outside of his cult.
And
That's
see,
insane.
none of that is out there. Because you see the news, you see that.
That's like being like an abused, like seeing someone who's abused and being like, why did you make them hit you? Like, that's the same logic of like abuser shit.
Tina, I'm sorry, I forget her last name. Peters. Okay. Tina Peters, she was fighting for the White Hats when she did what she did. Okay. So they should rescue her. Hello. Now, I know.
I like that she's like, they were doing everything legally except for this lady who's in prison, but it was still legal, even though she was convicted of a crime.
107, JFK Jr., is trying to do so. He's been busting his ass to help her, but he is a lawyer by training, which is a good thing and not. So the thing is, the things they do illegal, they do in secret. But Tina Peters and her case is public. Okay, just like Comey is public. Okay, so the public things they try to do by the book.
All right. For time, let's move on to the next person. We get it. She's doing pretty much QAnon adjacent stuff. Let's see what the next person has to say.
Hello. So this is just a what do they call it? Intercession? I forgot what they call it. Intermission. Thank you. Oh my God. My brain is activated somewhere. So,
say his brain is activated somewhere. When they get distracted and frazzled, do they think their brain is being like teleported, part of it, somewhere else for their super soldier stuff? Wouldn't it be fun to have little bullshit explanations for every just like thing your body does? Ron Glenn with a $5 YouTube super chat says, I've been trying to get in contact with you and your channel. I have a really good national conspiracy with lots of evidence and pictures. If you'd like, you can post it in the Discord in the conspiracy tinfoil chat.
What I thought we'll do for those who are relaxed
Medicated person, thanks for the 15 stream.
and had lunch already, we're going to just bring a few vendors up here and they're going to share more about some of their wares. And I want to share about, we're going to start off with Dr. Ben. Now, I've known Dr. Ben for about a week, and he's doing amazing work with some Ormus, and we're going to give him
Ormus?
5-10 minutes, and then we're going to just switch back and forth to keep you guys entertained, and just in case you need some entertainment, okay? So again, this is mostly going to be for the live stream crowd. I know that the number count here is we'll fill the chairs soon, okay? But just introduce yourself and let people.
Oh no, is there like no one in there? We'll fill the chairs soon. What does that mean? Show me the audience, you cowards. How embarrassing is this? It's the last day of the conference. No one's going to the talks. They're all hung over.
People know what you're doing, okay?
Sure thing. Thank you so much, James. So this is intermission, and I'm a man on a mission. Ooh.
Oh no! Is he another comedian? No, he's shilling something. He's shilling something, right?
Ooh, that's right. I'm a Do Foundation. We are now a church. It's a church.
Oh, fuck off.
Auxiliary of IMEDU self-supported ministry. We are actually a mission. We are actually a private charity now, and I do health supplements. I've been doing this for about 10 years. Our church is about 40.
Wow, they're a church that's nonprofit and they sell health supplements. It's definitely a church, guys. It's not just his business selling supplements that he's illegally claiming as a church. Shilling scamming on the bingo card.
Years old. Basically, I had to become a church so I could actually speak freely because the FDA kept screwing with me back in 2019.
Oh my god, does he think that claiming he's a church is gonna protect? I mean, right now the FDA ain't doing shit, so whatever, but you think that in general, claiming to be a church is going to stop your health claims from being health claims? Oh my.
19, they attacked all colloidal silver companies right before COVID-19 because as a chemist, we knew that colloidal silver was antiviral and they
No, that's what it turns people fucking blue. Hold on. Remember Amy Carlson, the head of the Love Has Won cult, who took colloidal silver so often that it turned her skin bluish gray? This is like a whole thing that happens. She used to have a normal skin tone. She's not the only one that this has happened to, by the way. Colloidal silver. Blue people. Look at this fucking guy. To be clear, I should also point out, it doesn't just turn your skin blue, it can also kill you. It's very bad for you. But that's, you know, the most obvious symptom to show people. But, like, it destroys you. Do not take colloidal silver. Your body is not supposed to ingest silver.
the government had to pretend like that there was no cure for the virus so that they could then get emergency use authorization before they poisoned everyone with COVID-19 vaccines.
Yeah, none of that's true. They're fully approved. It's been literal years now since they've been approved. They're still good. So you still want to keep lying? Awesome. Terradona with 100 bits says, he must not know how the Earth 2 church and their bleach solution got taken out. Yeah. They were selling MMS, I want to say. What they called MMS. It was an industrial bleach.
So this is the IMEDU detox system. It is what you want to detox the vaccine with. Now, I know all this crowd here, you guys were all super soldiers and super smart, and none of y'all actually got the vaccine, so that's really good. I'm very proud of you guys. But if you do know people who poison themselves with the vaccine are at risk of turbo
I'm praying for a super spreader event.
cancer, the IMEDU detox system is also a triple anti-cancer. Now, you must be wondering, what is the...
Oh, he He's claiming it cures cancer. That's the big one in terms of, like, false medical claims. Claiming that you can cure cancer is, like, the biggest red flag.
IMEDU detox system. This is 3 important minerals that are really overlooked. It is iodine, and this is nascent iodine. It's called New Iodine is our brand. And colloidal silver, not just any colloidal silver. This is
I'm sorry, is he telling people to drink iodine?
colloidal silver, high quality, 10 nanometer, 100 ppm, food grade colloidal silver. It's not the clear stuff. It's not the cloudy white stuff. It's like an amber color. This is the really good stuff. And colloidal gold. A lot of people haven't heard of colloidal gold. If you have,
if you don't know about the turbo cancer thing, this is an anti-vax talking point. They claim it gives you turbo cancer. Turbo cancer is, of course, not a medical term, but they talk about it like it is. Like, they will use the specific term turbo cancer like it's a real thing. Yeah.
People have heard of Ormus, which is like monoatomic gold. The colloidal gold is actually, you get the health benefits of the colloidal and the health benefits of the Ormus. The way it works is,
the idea of ingesting gold like this is so funny to me. It's such a stupid person thing to do. Like, me like gold. Gold shiny. Me eat gold. Me feel good if eat gold, 'cause gold good. Gold shiny. Gold make happy. Eat gold. Make health. You know what I mean? It just, it just feels like a really stupid thing to do. I don't know what else to call it. It's stupid. It's a stupid thing a stupid person would do because they're stupid. To be like, I like gold. Gold's good. I should eat it. Hydrate. Will do.
the colloidal gold particles are multiple gold atoms, and then it releases the single monoatomic Ormus gold atoms off the surface of it, so you get like a double health benefit from the gold. But the way the system works is designed around the iodine. Now, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so ladies, you need
Don't refer to me or my boobs ever again.
to know that iodine is the cure for breast cancer. If you
No, it is not. There is not a definitive cure. That do not say that. No, 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 no.
didn't know that, please know that now and tell all your lady friends. It cures about 80% of breast cancers.
It does not. I promise you it doesn't. Put this man in jail for life.
Few genetic ones it doesn't, but in general, the thyroid tissue is very similar to the breast tissue, and it gets very mad and inflamed when it doesn't have enough iodine. The main thing iodine does is it works with the thyroid.
I don't know enough about anatomy to talk about that, but that doesn't feel right.
Have y'all ever heard of thyroid hormones T3, T4? Anybody? Y'all heard that? You know where your thyroid is? It's in your neck. It's kind of this like this butterfly-shaped thing associated with the soul. Well, it creates
The thyroid is associated with the soul. That's new for me.
energy for your body, and it had the main energy system it uses is iodine.
You only take iodine when there's a nuclear accident. I know, I have some in case of that. You don't take it though, unless you get told to take it, because it's very damaging to your body. It's very damaging to your body. Do not take iodine just because. Holy shit.
And thyroid hormones
The only time to take it is if literally the other option is dying of, like, radiation sickness.
T3 has 3 iodine molecules in it. Thyroid hormone T4 has 4 iodine molecules in it. Iodine is like the gas. If your body was a car, then iodine is like the gas that you need. And everybody, it's estimated about 99% of Americans are iodine depleted. So y'all are like cars running around on empty gas tanks. You don't know what energy is until you
Fucking use iodized salt.
start getting iodine, get your T4 levels up. Your ratio of T4 to T3 is supposed to be about 20. T4 is the major energy storage molecule. T3 is the activated thyroid hormone that tells your body to make more energy. And the part of this that nobody other than me seems to understand is that's only half of the energy system of the thyroid. The thyroid actually has 4 hormones.
Fun fact, if you think you're the only one that understands something, you aren't the only one that understands something. You just have a delusion.
It has the 2 iodine ones, but it also has the 2
Colloidal gold dangers? Oh boy. Toxicity and biokinetics of colloidal gold nanoparticles. This is from the National Library of Medicine. Oh boy. Gold nanoparticles have promising potential for diverse biological application, but it has not been completely determined whether AUNP has potential toxicity in vitro and in vivo. In the present study, toxicity of AUNP was evaluated in human intestinal cells as well as in rats after 14-day repeated oral administration. Biokinetic study was also performed to assess oral absorption and tissue distribution. The results demonstrated that AUNP did not cause cytotoxic effects on cell after 24-hour exposure in terms of inhibition of cell proliferation, membrane damage, and oxidative stress. However, when a small number of cells were exposed to AUNP for 7 days, colony forming ability remarkably decreased by AUNP treatment, suggesting its potential toxicity after long-term exposure at high concentration. Biokinetic study revealed that AUNP slowly entered the bloodstream and slightly accumulated only in kidney after oral administration to rats, whereas orally administered AU ions were rapidly absorbed and then distributed in kidney, liver, lung, and spleen at high levels, suggesting that the biological fate of AUNP is primarily in nanoparticulate form, not in ionic AU. 14-day repeated oral toxicity evaluation showed that AUNP did not cause severe toxicity in rats based on histopathological, hematological, and serum biochemical analysis. So that didn't do as much as they necessarily thought it might, but it did do some things, built up in the kidneys a bit, and inhibited cell proliferation. All right.
Do calcium
I'd suggest you don't drink gold.
modulating ones. Parathyroid hormone is the main one, and calcitonin is the other one. So what happens is when your body gets low iodine, you're low energy, your brain sends the signal to the thyroid asking for more energy. Guess what? Your body increases your blood pressure to try to pump more thyroid hormones, get more energy to the brain. So I meet a lot of people with chronically high blood pressure. They've tried everything, they can't get it down, and they just take some iodine and it goes down within 30 minutes. It's amazing because when your brain starts getting enough energy, it'll stop sending the signal to elevate your blood pressure to try to get more energy up there. When you're iodine depleted, low energy, your body will then try to use the other energy system using calcium, and it'll increase your parathyroid hormone to try to start dissolving your bones. Now, people just try to take calcium, think they'll fix it. Taking calcium does absolutely nothing. What your body's actually trying to do is trying to get magnesium and phosphates out of the bone, especially magnesium. Really important because every molecule of ATP your body makes, it makes it with the iodine. The iodine T3 stimulates mitochondria. Mitochondrial genesis makes a lot
This lasted 5 days. I think it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing.
of ATP energy, but every molecule of ATP requires a molecule of magnesium to stabilize that energy. Have you ever heard of people rubbing magnesium on their muscles to relax their muscles? The reason that works is your muscles, when they reset, they get ATP energy stabilized by magnesium to reset. So your muscles get primed, full of energy. Your muscles are relaxed when they're energized, which seems backwards, but that's just the way our muscles work. Our muscles aren't relaxed when they're energy depleted. Our muscles are relaxed when they're energy stabilized. So that magnesium stabilizes your ATP. So be sure to take some
ATP is the energy that's produced in the cell.
ATP, helps the calcium.
It's like the energy. Basically, the food that you eat gets turned into ATP, which your cells use to do stuff. It's the energy your body uses.
Pathway, but what you really need is that iodine. Now, when you take that iodine, it'll use it for energy. When you have excess iodine, your body will use that iodine to detox you. It can detox anything. Iodine behaves chemically similar to oxygen.
Nothing detoxes you. I need everyone here to listen to me and internalize what I am telling you. Your body cannot be detoxed by stuff that you do to it. Your liver will take out toxins and stuff to the best of its ability, and that's about all it's gonna do. You cannot go on a diet, or a cleanse, or put on a patch, or take a pill, or a drink, or anything that will, quote, detox you. It is not a real thing. It is an entirely made-up marketing term in order to sell gullible rubes health products that don't work. It's not a real thing. If you hear that term, run away. It's not a thing.
All of chemistry is based on oxidation reduction. Iodine is like oxygen. It can oxidize any element on the periodic table. Your body will use iodine to grab any kind of toxin, flush it out of the body. Those toxins cause damage on the way out. So you use silver and gold to protect your body as the toxins come out. Silver is anti-inflammatory in the body, gold anti-inflammatory in the brain. By taking iodine, silver, and gold together, you can detox safely, and it will make a huge benefit for your health. That's the iMedu detox system. I've got a table right over there. Thank you, guys. Next speaker. I know there's a lot of information fast. I hope you all absorbed all that. Here's my brochure. Y'all probably can't see it, but I have these little tiny bottles. They look small, but there's a 6-month supply for a $300 donation. Thank you, guys.
Donation. Go fuck yourself. Whatever state this guy lives in, the attorney general needs to get on his ass immediately. If you're telling people how much the donation is, guess what? Not a donation. That's the sales price. You scum. You scum on the bottom of my shoes. I wish I could scrape you off directly into a prison cell.
Thank you so much. Huge information.
Your godmother believes in colloidal silver and shit. I hope blue's her color.
A lot of
Because it's what she's going to be wearing at her funeral.
people require this. My name is Susan
That was a little mean for someone you know personally. I apologize.
Schatzer. Our next guest and vendor, come on up here, is Frederick Pacone, and he's going to talk to us about Lightwave.
Hello, everyone. I know a lot of people in here already are using LifeWave, but for those who...
Real quick, before we get into this, I am going to go run and use the bathroom real quick. Let's see. While I'm gone, Chair will tell you about... It's almost Halloween. We should probably do horror movies, huh? Here's a good one. Tales from the Hood. Halloween Town's downstairs. I have Halloween Town. My audio's quieter than the videos. I thought I looked like I was a little quiet today. Let me adjust something. I'm going to adjust the gain. And that should help. Hello, hello, hello. Test, test, test. Hello, hello. That should be a little better. Anyway, like I was saying, I own all 4 Halloween Town movies, but they're all downstairs. So, I don't know. Talk about Tales from the Hood. It's a good movie, damn it. It's a good fucking movie. Watch Tales from the Hood. David Alan Grier plays a terrible person in it. He's great. He gets crumpled up. It's a great effect. Watch Tales from the Hood. Be right back. I'm back.
Of you who aren't using LifeWave,
you own that, but it's on the to watch pile, I'd recommend it. It's a really good Halloween movie. The ending's cheesy in a fun way. I'd recommend it for sure.
it's a brand new technology that uses your own body's light to raise up your dormant stem cells to act.
Your own body's light. I am not bioluminescent. My body does not produce light.
Activity. And what does that do? It restores your body back to a youthful state. If you would like to come back and get a sample, we're in the left corner back here. And you could support James Rink also by talking to Arthur or Michael Jaco, who spoke last year at the conference. And it's really like a wearable med bed if you think about it.
Believe sci-fi technology exists on the bingo card.
What it uses is your own body's light. It reflects your own body's light back in, and it causes your body.
Why do you guys have to actually me? Do you think anything you're saying is relevant to the point he's trying to make? Why? And I know it's because my own personality and the whole show is just actually the show. But damn, man.
Produce a copper peptide that activates your stem cells. And what are stem cells? Does anybody know what stem cells are? They're the cells that you're built of. When you were a baby, your dividing cell was a stem cell. Every cell in your body that you have now was once a stem cell. Unfortunately, when we hit about age...
Oh, this is hurting my wife somewhere if she's listening to this.
30, you're down to about 50% stem cells. And when you hit 30, think about it, that's when you really start to age. Myself, I'm 60. I'm down to about 10% stem cells before I started using...
I don't think any of these numbers are correct.
Using the patches. And that's when you really start to age quickly. And you have a hard time healing, and you start to get the aches and pains, you're fatigued. So just come on back and get a sample, and we can explain more and answer any questions you might have. And don't forget...
My question is, where do you get off?
We're supporting James Rink. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Frederick, so much for explaining the LifeWave to us. LifeWave, the X39, is an incredible patch that goes right behind your neck, right at the base of the skull area. And
this is the patch. If you guys watched the MedBed video, I assume all of you did, or at least most of them. You know, in the montage when Sean's like, it's a patch and it produces stem cells. That's the product that they're talking about.
Having been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, it has actually helped infusing a lot of my nerves, regenerating.
I promise it is not. I promise it has not done that.
The nerves. So that's just a little FYI on the side. Please join me, Dylan Monroe. Big round of applause for Dylan. Dylan is not only a vendor, but he's also a speaker with us. He'll be speaking tomorrow.
Thank you very much. It's a little higher. Hello, everyone. I'm Dylan Lewis Monroe from the Deep State Mapping Project.
The Deep State Mapping Project? That's new to me. I gotta look up. Is this on YouTube? The Deep State Mapping Project. Q Deep State Mapping Project, the most dark and twisted ideologies that will only harm you, Part 2. Oh no. Q Web Deep State Mapping. Wait, is this the thing? Okay.
Okay, this is the World Hierarchy Pyramid. And if you want to get one of these, there's a link in my bio. It'll take you to my link tree. And then just click on the second one down. It says Deep State Mapping Project. And you can order these. I've tried to talk about the different...
So basically they're graphically trying to connect all of their conspiracy stuff. I have a poster somewhere that's very similar to this, where it sort of takes many hundreds of different conspiracy theories and tries to graphically connect them all in some way.
stuff on some of these maps before, and I usually get censored.
Why is there a picture of the fucking Leviathan? You see from Hellraiser in the bottom right. Do you see that? That's the Leviathan. What the hell? We mix it in Hellraiser lore now? Sweet.
I've tried to talk about the different stuff on some of these maps before, and I usually get censored. So I'm just going to pan across it.
That's true. We'll do a card check in a sec. What? Sorry, this is random, but Baha just texted me. She's at a thrift store right now looking at dresses because we have a wedding coming up for one of our friends. I know we just had a wedding. We have multiple weddings this month because all our friends are October wedding people because we chose our friends well. Anyway, apparently someone brought their dog into the store, not like a service animal. Of course, that's always fine. Just a dog, and the dog shit all over the floor, and the lady just left and didn't tell any employees or anything, and someone stepped in the shit. It was not Baha, but someone stepped in the shit. Don't do that. Don't bring your pets into a store unless they're service animals. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I've actually covered a lot of these topics. If you scroll through my TikTok over the past year, I've covered a lot of these topics in other videos.
The only place you take your dog is the pet supermarket, and even then they take him to poop first. Of course, pet stores are usually, at least the ones I've been in, are places you're allowed to take your pet.
Also on my YouTube and my Rumble, I've covered quite a bit of these.
Penikagami says, fetal stem cells can become anything. Non-fetal adult stem cells can only become a set number of different cell types, and as such are stored where they're useful. It's how you heal. None can become brain cells, hence why the brain never heals. Yes, and I know there's different kinds of stem cells. There's pluripotent and... pluripotent and totipotent stem cells, and they do different things. Or can differentiate into different things. So I guess that's what this guy's working on. Let's take a look at the bingo card real quick. I don't know if there's anything else on here, but we will take a quick look. Oh, we haven't done this at all! Well, looky there. He uses AI. Staggering levels of hypocrisy, incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident, vibes-based conspiracy, believes sci-fi tech secretly exists, I know we had the Matrix. Where's the Matrix on here? There we go, 27, the Matrix. Reptilians were mentioned, I believe. What else? What else? Does anyone have anything else? There's probably some I'm missing. 54. Oh, yep, I mentioned Blu-rays. Did we have PsyOps? Anyone else think we have PsyOps? Conspiracy theorist tells on themselves. I'll do that one for the guy who's pretending to be a church. Oh, Schilling, of course. Oh, Deep State. Duh, for the thing we just looked at. And I think that's it. Cool beans.
This is our booth over there. For people online, you've probably heard of me before, but I am also known as the map maker. I created this one you see right here, which has gone significantly viral across the interwebs, called the Q Web. This was released in 2018, and I have been making highly complex infographics ever since. This infographic was so popular that infographics kind of became my mission in life, to educate people with these. You can consider them kind of like cheat sheets of the Great Awakening. So we have them on several different subjects. The first one here.
It's nice that someone chose to map out their particular insanity. That's probably helpful for someone.
Was really mainly about the CIA and the
Oh, we do have Dead Celebrity is actually alive on the bingo card too. I forgot to get that. So thank you, Avila.
History of humanity. From there, we've expanded even deeper into ancient history, ancient cults, looking into topics like...
And if anyone knows anything about cults, it's these guys.
Like energy, the financial system. We now have 2 highly complex infographics on health and healing. The Healing Web, which has also actually gone even more viral than the original Q Web since its release, with everyone starting to question Big Pharma throughout the COVID epidemic.
Oh, Jesus.
And so I'll be speaking tomorrow at 10 a.m. in more detail about these things. But our website is dsmp.io. We recently changed our domain, which was a little bit of a rocky transition, but we did it to avoid censorship on Meta platforms, which previously you were not even able to share our domain on any Meta platform, including Facebook or Instagram. So we're now on dsmp.io, which you can share publicly on Facebook and Instagram. And on that site, it's becoming a little bit like a all-encompassing awakened Amazon. So we have our info.
Oh, the amount of scam products on there must be incredible.
Graphics is our main bread and butter. My background was actually in fashion design before I got into this more fine art field. And so we have a whole...
Oh, he considers this fine art. Okay.
T-shirt section, and then we've also expanded in the past few years into crystal store and health and body products. So all the health and body products are primarily affiliate products. I'm also an affiliate of LifeWave, which you just heard about, which I endorse.
Oh, he's in the MLM. Of course he is. This is all of these scammers. It's so incestuous. It's just like everyone's involved with everyone.
As well as ASEA and several others. So you can check out the body section on our website as well to see all the tools that I'm personally using to become superhuman. Fortunately, not a super soldier like a lot of these people here, but I'm not SSP, but I've been invited to this event since I dived so deep into the deep state. And I do personally consider myself as ground crew from the Galactic Federation, working with the benevolent forces of the universe that fortunately do not subject their team members to the MK Ultra of the deep state and the SSP.
MK Ultra on the bingo card.
So that's me. Check us out at the booth over there and on the website dsmp.io, and I'll be giving much more detail on this tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you all for coming out, and thanks to James Ring for hosting this.
I thought this was the last day. Is this not the last day? Please make it stop. Please make it stop. It was 10 days ago and this is the last one, so it had to be. Maybe they just had a little talk like on the last day right before everyone left. Maybe. I don't know. This is the last video they posted about it though, so we're done after this. SSP is secret space program. Unless they posted the days in the wrong order, but I don't think so, because James is at the end of this video, and you'd think he'd be the closer, because he's the main guy.
Please welcome Albert Bird. He is coming on the stage and he has a few things to show you that you may not have seen before or know about. Albert.
We're about 2 hours in, by the way. I forgot to do my little calls to action halfway through the stream. We have about an hour left, so I'll do them one more time. If you like the stream, consider becoming a subscriber on Twitch or a member on YouTube. If you want to help support the stream, you can also donate via gift subs, gift memberships, bits, or super chats. Thanks, everyone. And like the stream if you're on YouTube. Just hit the thumbs up. Thank you.
James asked me to do it.
Okay, how long? 10?
Not even that long.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Albert Bird. Thank you for James Rick for sponsoring this, and thank you for your attention. I am a...
Does he pretend to be related to Admiral Byrd? Because that guy's big in the flat earth community.
Sound and energy healer. I like to use Tibetan bowls and tuning forks. And I'm a vendor here this weekend. And if you go to...
The only thing tuning forks are good for is plane shift.
To the Super Soldier website and click on the vendors.
You listed it as 4 days. Interesting. I wonder if they just didn't film the last day. Was the last day the big anti-Semitism day and they just decided not to film that one? Oh.
There is a picture of myself, Albert Bird. Click on that. Go to my website. It is a essential...
What flick did we pick last night? What are you talking about? You mean Sunday for the patron-only live show? Because we did Mr. Sardonicus. Or were you talking about last night? Last night I watched, just in my own time, Child's Play 2 and 1931's Dracula.
To attunement. Attunement to ascension. And for this event, I'm having a drawing. So if you go to the context page, put to enter the drawing on the messages, I will be giving a free healing session to use the Tibetan bowls.
Wow, free bullshit.
Or the tuning forks. And I know they're trying to...
All right, I'm skipping to the next actual
Hour
speaker.
earlier.
Still.
Here we go.
For you. Dan's Garvo ended up so someone who might not have had lunch, we have it for you. Okay.
Toy Factory part is peak cinema. There's a lot of reasons, but one of the main reasons that Child's Play 2 is my favorite Chucky movie is the climax. It is the best climax of any Child's Play movie.
Okay. All righty. And we are getting all set to go. Where's the beautiful Sherry now? There she is. Wonderful. Okay, we are really, really excited here, guys. Sherry Div Band, we will be bringing up as our next speaker. She is our Children's Starseed Ambassador. We are working...
Children's Starseed Ambassador? Well, she should go to jail, too.
To raise our new Earth.
Everyone at this conference, straight to jail.
And raise our vibrations together. So I'm really excited to hear her speech, guys. Let's give her a warm welcome, Sherry. Woo, Sherry. Woo!
Please don't let this woman near your children. She'll make them crazy.
I can't stand still, so I gotta move this out of my way.
You listed it as 5 days? I wonder why they only posted 3. That's so interesting. I wonder what happened. Huh. Because, yeah, we have day 2, day 1, day 3, and a variety. Yeah. Huh. Weird.
You might be stuck here. I'm gonna leave it right behind you.
Okay, I can't stand in one place. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. Anybody know who I am? Anybody not? Okay. I'm gonna start right now with a quick
Soars 893. Thanks for following.
intro video, and it'll kind of be a nice little icebreaker to what I'll be talking about if I can get this working properly. Is the volume working? Okay.
Maybe days 5 and 4 and 5 are BitChute. Maybe. I've checked their other channel, and I don't think they had them on there, but I can check. I can check after this, I guess. Let me look. I'll look right now. It's not that big of a deal. Super Soldier Talk. Also Rumble. They do Rumble, not BitChute. Yeah, no, they don't have more days. If anything, they actually posted fewer days. She, her source.
I hope you can see that.
Well, at least the skipping means we don't have to hear whatever terrible music she's playing. That's probably pretty good. Oh, it's... at least it's just stock footage. So she wants to indoctrinate your child into believing they're part alien. AramisCreativeLearning.com. I'm kind of scared to look it up.
So that is a nice intro. I'm going to get into more specifically what Aramis Creative Learning Center is and what it's about. But as you can see, I focus my work on starseed children. But I want to talk about...
Oh, this should be illegal. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, that website ain't great either. Okay. Sherry Divbind is the founder of Aramis Creative Learning Center, which is part of a nonprofit organization called the Aramis Collective. Aramis is built on the foundation of holistic and intuitive learning, where children's emotional wellness is the driving force. We offer an alternative to the current educational system that fosters an environment of excitement and enthusiasm, where children look forward to learning through animal-centered... It says that through animal-centered classes and unique subject content, children will experience transformational learning during their most valuable educational years. They will become grounded, intuitive, empowered, independent, and prepared for a life of limitless possibilities. Oh, yikes. We offer only virtual classes at this time, is what it says, so that's good. Currently, Aramis is an online-only platform. We're working towards opening our first in-person learning center in West Palm Beach, Florida in 2026. Of course it's Florida. Everything is pain.
Who I am first, for those of you that do not know who I am or want to know more about what I do. My background. So I was born in Los Angeles, California in 1981 to two teen parents. I had an interesting upbringing.
Do I think days 4 and 5 were the orgy? It's a conference. A lot of people get drunk and bone at conferences, so maybe.
And the traumas that I want to talk about led to everything that I'm doing today. So they are relevant to some degree. Let me not trip on that. So when I was about 2.5 years old, I was kidnapped for several days in Long Beach. And I actually want to give a shout out to Jessica. My friend is in here somewhere. Yeah, Jessica Jones. Woohoo, I love her. So she did a remote viewing when I was finally ready, like many, many, many years later, to figure out what...
Yes, repackaged Indigo Children, just with alien stuff on top, because I don't remember if the Indigo Children thing was aliens expressly. Starseed is.
Happened to me, because I have a lot of blocks in regard to what happened to me during those 4 or 5 days that I was kidnapped, taken away around 2.5 years old. And what I suspected was I was going to be trafficked into cargo ships and taken abroad.
You were 2.5. I don't think you made any assumptions about anything that would make sense. You were 2.
To be used for many purposes. You guys can fill in the blanks, likely what that was. But I believe that there was an angelic or divine intervention, and there was stalling. So I was just in the room eating bubble gum, watching cartoons, and being sedated for days and days. And I got very ill. because I wasn't being fed and I was rescued. I'm not going to get into the specifics of the story, but Jessica picked up on so many things.
I'm very curious if this is there's basically two options here. Either none of this happened and she's manufactured all of this experience through, uncovered memories or hypnosis or whatever, or she actually did have a traumatic experience that she is post hoc rationalizing in really unhealthy ways, and neither is great, but I am curious which it is. Is this a delusion crafted from whole cloth? Or is this an actual terrible thing that happened that she's about to lay a bunch of alien stuff into because she doesn't know how to process it?
Things that filled in the blanks, and likely that is what happened to me.
Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs. I really appreciate it.
Shortly after that, I was sexually abused by a boyfriend of my mother from the age about 5 till about 10, 11 years old, repeatedly. Never told a soul until I was in my 20s. But those experiences, along with moving a lot throughout my childhood because my stepdad was
I don't know if I'd include moving a lot as a kid alongside those other things, but okay.
An engineer and built flight simulators for the Air Force. And so we moved all over the country. And interestingly, we were always near Disneyland, Disney World, and certain Air Force bases, which is, there's a lot to it. I don't have a lot of time to get into to a lot of this, but you can fill in the blanks, unlikely what occurred. So I was always the new kid. Girls hated me. I was bullied all the time. And I was scrawny little kid, very underweight. And I just had a horrible childhood. I was always made fun of, and I hated people. I grew up hating people with a passion. I had built a lot of walls around me. So what saved my life was a dog named Chelsea, a German Shepherd that my mom got for me when I was young. And she became my best friend. And that is how I connected to the animal kingdom. And from that, I decided that I was going to save all the animals because the animals were the only thing in my life that gave unconditional love, that didn't hurt me, didn't abuse me, didn't abduct me, didn't try to hurt me in any way. And they just loved me unconditionally. And I had such a deep compassion and respect for animals that really grew and nurtured over time. And so with that, I decided to go into veterinary medicine. So for 20 years, I avoided humans as much as possible. And I worked in the veterinary field. So I worked in general practice, and then I really shined in intensive care. So I was an ICU tech for about 6 or 7 years. Then I went into the zoo for 10 years. I worked at the National Zoo in DC for 10 years, working on many, many animals. So here's a couple of pictures of me learning animal Reiki. So I started doing animal healings.
Animal Reiki! Reiki is energy healing. It's not a real thing. It's a conspiracy thing. Basically, you take your hands and you just, wave them around the person, and you're supposed to be manipulating the person's energy field. You know how some people claim they can see people's aura? They basically think you're manipulating people's aura and healing them that way. I don't think I've ever seen someone do it on animals, though. Either way, it's not real. It's fake. It's not a thing. You cannot heal someone via their aura because auras also aren't real.
To try to help them. Through all of that, I had my first son at 23, who opened up my heart in a way that I never
Okay, I'm very concerned that she has children.
Expected, wasn't prepared for, and the walls came flooding down, and I wanted to be a better human being, and I wanted my son to be raised in a better place. You not have a story. And so I started to do readings and energy healings on people cautiously at first. Then I had a second son 7 years later, and I had a whole nother awakening, and a lot of my gifts started to come through. I started to see galactic beings. I started.
Annie Kai says the most annoying thing, they're pronouncing it wrong. It's pronounced Ryuki. It's a Japanese word that they would know if they ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho. Is that an anime?
To channel a lot more, and I started to really become open to who I was. About a year or so before my daughter was born, she came to me as a soul during a channeling session and told me that she was coming into my life, and we had a very important mission together, that she needed my help, and she was asking my permission to come through because she.
Maybe they didn't post the last 2 days because their recording equipment finally gave out. Maybe. It's weird to me. Like, they clearly streamed this live, but they didn't also record it. Like, you can record things while you're streaming them. That way, even if there's choppiness in the stream, you can still upload the clean recording. I guess they don't train super soldiers that, though, because none of them knew that, and they just kept the live stream instead of using a recording.
He was going to create a legacy in this world and do something so big that I needed to give her permission first before she came through. And of course I said yes, and I was really excited. I didn't quite know what that journey was going to look like, but I channeled her for about a year before she came into my life. And she taught me about
I'm genuinely concerned for her and these children, that she's so delusional. She thinks she was talking to her daughter a year before she even got pregnant. That's deeply concerning in the way that it speaks to her poor mental state.
RC children. And throughout that time, I decided to help people have natural childbirth. I started to become more holistic minded, more, what root cause of what generally what people go through and why they struggle. And she really opened my eyes. And I think my daughter's soul at that time taught me more than any book, any teacher, anything I could have ever prepared for. She taught me so much.
Wow, you don't really get a lot from books then, do ya? That's a shame.
And so that really shifted the entire trajectory of my life. And so I started to work with families to help them bring in their children naturally. And then I started to attract children that were nonverbal or who were labeled autistic. And I had a practice.
Oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be so bad. Warning, warning, warning. She's going to say offensive shit about autistic people and probably claiming that she's curing autistic people. And there's a variety of reasons that's an offensive thing to say. So just be aware of that.
Healing practice in Bethesda, Maryland. And I started to work with these children, and I started to discover so much more than I ever bargained for, ever asked for, because I had no idea what Aramis was bringing into my life and how everything was going to change for me. So I'm going to get into all of this in a little bit more detail, but I went into transpersonal hypnotherapy. I started to do soul readings for people.
Transpersonal hypnotherapy. That's maybe giving me some clues about the veracity of her previous claims. We're getting into the woo-woo hypnotherapy stuff. Hi, buddy. Do you want to come over here? Come here, buddy. Yeah, hi. Oh. Look, it's a boy. We haven't seen him in so long. Okay, buddy, bye. Cat makes a guest appearance on the bingo card. Buddy, I love you.
I started to work with children that were highly psychic, struggling in school, struggling to fit in, who were being abducted, all sorts of things.
Yeah, that's why I'm so into Blu-rays, is because I'm highly psychic, wink wink.
And then I created the Aramis Creative Learning Center, which I'll get into. So that's a little bit about my background. So the Great Awakening, I don't need to explain to all of you guys because most of you are pretty aware of what the Great Awakening is. But the way I like to talk about it is, what are we all doing here and why did we incarnate into these bodies to assist? So on some...
Does she think autistic people are psychic? Yes.
In many different
unironically, yes.
ways,
Buddy, stop chewing on my tutu. Thank you.
This dimension shifted and it became a lot more dense, and there's what I refer to, I'm in my books, the dark players. So the dark players are the powers that were, the powers that have controlled, and the powers that have manipulated and created so many paradigms to keep people indoctrinated and programmed within these different paradigms in order to keep the loosh system going. For example, schools are
the loosh system. That's basically adrenochrome, but even crazier, if you don't know. Loosh is part of a conspiratorial belief that the entire world is effectively a cattle farm where human suffering is farmed for a psychic substance called loosh, which they believe the aliens feed on. So their explanation for human suffering is that aliens are the cause of all human suffering because they need it to get their loosh. Not a joke. That is what they believe. That is what she believes.
Our indoctrination camps.
I don't think anyone's done moves goalposts yet, Jay's Proxy. Sorry, let me open the door for the boy real quick. It closed when he came in enough that I think he feels trapped. Hi, buddy. I gotcha. Here you go. Yeah, he ran out immediately.
Built like prisons, and they are an anagram. School is an anagram for loosh. So when children come in and they are dynamic and they are innovative and they are creative and they're placed in fluorescent lit rooms with teachers that encourage them to memorize and listen to lectures and then take standardized testing, and they're funneled into a very narrow-minded approach to learning, while also being embedded with voice-to-skull technology that creates a loosh system.
Transpersonal hypnotherapy is woo-woo nonsense, including past life regression. Of course it is. Oh, it's in comic... Is that Comic Sans? Not quite. It reminds me a little bit of it. At least Comic Sans is good for people with dyslexia, so fair enough. Transpersonal psychotherapy expresses a range of growth from personal, very human issues to psycho-spiritual realms of consciousness. It is common to be going through difficulties in life with relationships, jobs, depression, anxiety, etc., and simultaneously be exploring spiritually. I find this combination of focus or interest exciting. Transpersonal hypnosis allows this exploration to go even deeper. I use regression therapy to explore unresolved issues from the past and to bring healing to painful and traumatic experiences from this life. Past life regression can be healing where there's a sense that a pattern goes back even further than this life. This process is done with a great care, allowing the client to be in control and go at their own pace. Oh, fucking hell. Everything's fucked.
And it suppresses our children. So the Great Awakening is about...
Let me tell you, if all of a sudden I became dictator, there would be the greatest crackdown in woo-woo alt-health bullshit in human history. It would be brutal. We're also going to commute all non-violent drug offenses to make room in the jails for the hucksters.
Us finally activating as a collective, and all the adults that are walking around today trying to figure out who we are, where we're from, what our true belief systems are, what are the root causes of our illness, our dis-ease, what our desires really stem from, and how to break free and become empowered and sovereign. And we have different roles and different people that come in to contribute in different ways. And children are a big part of that, but I want to talk about the adults first.
Can you be the Secretary of Defense? Sure, why not? You have to be more qualified than the current guy.
Because when we incarnate...
As long as you're not drunk right now, you're probably more qualified than the current guy.
As a person, we can easily have our guides and angels and galactic beings come and support us in the astral realm and, send us frequencies and...
Doesn't understand their problem is capitalism? Sure.
Inspire us through our thoughts, through telepathy, and they can do a lot to help guide us. But the true ability to anchor in a body is how we make true change. So when somebody of a high density galactic being, or somebody that has a lot of wisdom who's been through a lot, their own ascension at some point, when they incarnate and they integrate a high frequency of energy into these 3D bodies, magic happens. And it's taken many generations for that to occur. But in order to anchor in a body, the vibration that we give out will shift and terraforms our reality so we can get out of this dense negative environment and activate us from within. And so it's really important that we have people that actually incarnate in a body. And you guys all know who Dolores Cannon is. She talks about the 3 waves of volunteers. So the 3 waves of volunteers.
Dolores Cannon sounds familiar.
Is really.
They all get a cabinet position. Sure, take your pick.
About the indigos, the supernovas, the halo group, the sun rays. There's lots of different types of, or categories of which these types of souls incarnate in the body, but they're like the first couple of waves of groups that came in. But the bodies are very dense, and the reality is we're in a very programmed environment with a lot of NPCs, a lot of people walking around in completely dissociated, traumatized, connected to ancestral trauma, and living their life in loops, what I refer to in my books as reincarnation loops or loop cycles, negative loop systems of addiction, abandonment, not feeling worthy, whatever it is that you're working through ancestrally. A lot of the 3D people are unable to activate and awaken in these 3D bodies because the bodies are so dense and so genetically modified. So we have these volunteers that come in that have a higher density, that are operating from a higher space of consciousness, that are here to activate the cells within our body, and it takes time. So the first wave of volunteers came through and they struggled because they were fish out of water. They were here in the early 1900s and they did not fit in, and they became hermits. A lot of them committed suicide, and a lot of them turned to alcohol and drugs. Then we have other waves that came through during the hippie movements, but then drugs and sex and a lot of things kind of got in the way and distracted those people from really.
It's interesting that she includes sex next to drugs.
Carrying out what.
I don't know if those two things are equivalent.
It was that they were here to do, which was to spread love and light. So a lot of the generations have really struggled.
She has the same view of sex as Jason Voorhees, apparently.
To bring in the information and activate the collective in the way that they're meant to, because we're just bombarded with what I refer to as 3D interference. So 3D interference can be the chemtrails that we're talking about,
chemtrails on the bingo card,
magnetic frequencies. I mean, we are literally in a microwave of radioactivity. We have voice to.
It's not harmful radioactivity. Like, a lot of things are how do I put this? People often say radiation when what they really mean is ionizing radiation. Visible light is radiation. It radiates. It's energy, you know? But it's not ionizing, so it's not dangerous like gamma rays are. Depraved ambiance with a bingo. Let's take a look. Oh, there's nothing you didn't. There we go. Okay. So other people stop clicking on it. Incorrectly believes evidence is self-evident. Dead celebrities alive. Doesn't understand the problem is capitalism, chemtrails, reptilians. That's a winner. Congrats, Depraved Ambiance. I'll gift you a sub since you don't have one right now. That's our official bingo winner for today. We'll still play for fun, of course. But that's our winner chicken dinner, as they say.
Skull technology, which is satellites that operate underground, above ground, through 5G towers, through our cell phones, everywhere, that sends signals or frequencies. And if we are in a frequency that matches those particular frequencies, we will receive information or negative affirmations that make us feel like we are not worthy, we are not good enough, we can't do anything.
Oh, is that why there's a voice in my head that sounds like my dad always telling me I'm not good enough? I guess I should get some Reiki healing.
We are just not worthy. And so a lot of the children pick up on these frequencies. So we are bombarded by 3D interference. And so these volunteers come through and they try to think outside of the box. They're more innovative.
Is my dad 5G? He is, actually. It's funny you bring that up.
More activated and aware.
Yeah, underground satellites wouldn't work very well, would they? Huh.
Yet they struggle to navigate the 3D interference as well as the collective humanity that is still suppressed and operating under indoctrination and programming. So there's a lot of division and butting of heads. Wow, I really went through a bunch of slides. How did I just do that? That was crazy. Okay, I talked about 3D interference. Okay.
It's the black hats. They're trying to interrupt your great presentation.
So the fourth wave. I believe I was put on this planet to work with the fourth wave, and I believe that my daughter Aramis came into my life to help me to do that. And why is that?
You named your daughter Aramis? It's where the name of her school thing comes from. That makes sense. That's not a great name.
Fourth wave are the children that are exceptional. So we can't discount.
You know what? That's so bad. I'm going to say bad parenting on the bingo card. Aramis, bad parenting on the bingo card.
The first three waves, because I believe the first three waves have helped us a lot, because you have changed and shifted the genetic codes of the body and anchored in enough light so that every generation children can come through with a higher frequency, a higher density of consciousness and awareness that the previous generation couldn't. So we have these newer children, what we call new earth children, or more advanced star seeds, because they have already had their ascension path and they're coming here to rescue us out of our slumber, to help us awaken. So they're not going to rescue us in the sense that they are breaking us out of jail, but they are in our life.
Why do they find it so difficult to just be like, yep, my kid's autistic? Like, that shouldn't be that difficult, right? Like, it is what it is. It's gonna be a little different than if you were raising a neurotypical kid. That's fine. You'll adapt. That's fine. You don't need to ascribe some sort of supernatural thing to it.
Lives to help us think differently, to act differently, to operate differently, and to look at life in a different way. And they all have their own characteristics and they all have their own abilities, unique of each other, but a lot of them are very similar. So the crystal children came into this planet, and I'm terrible with years, so I'm just going to say that they are around 15 years old till about 30 predominantly right now. The crystal children
just missed it. 31. What a bummer.
Were a wave of souls that came through after the indigos in order to bring love to this planet.
So she is including indigos in this. That's interesting. So she thinks there's like a timeline where it went indigos, this other thing, and then indigos, then star children.
Planet. They are the children and the young adults right now that when you walk into a room with them, you just feel an abundance of love. They are so kind, they're so genuine, but they're very sensitive to food, to energy. They're empathic, they're healers. They're just little love muffins. And they love everybody.
Ma'am, you're projecting a lot onto these children. What the fuck is wrong with you?
They're non-confrontational. They don't like war. They don't understand
as opposed to kids that fucking love war.
Conflict. Their
kid doesn't even know what war is beyond G.I. Joe. That's such a weird thing to say. A kid doesn't understand what war is in the real sense.
Not competitive, and they really struggled in this world a lot. And those are the children that I work with probably a majority of the time, because they are struggling the most to fit in. Especially,
she's just describing people on the spectrum. She said that earlier. These kids, this is like the whole thing for those that don't know. The whole like starseed and indigo children thing is crunchy, crazy moms primarily who don't want to come to terms with the fact that their child is autistic. So they'd rather, instead of their kid being autistic, that they be half alien. It's fucked up. It's genuinely disgusting that these people are so offended or upset that their child is autistic that they have to come up with or attach themselves to this bizarre conspiratorial mythology that casts their child, not just as a kid who's going to maybe have some difficulties because the world isn't necessarily built for non-neurotypical people, and there's going to be difficulties. There's going to be some wonderful things too, right? But there's going to be difficulties. Instead of just recognizing that for what it is, they have to cast their child in this psychodrama where the kid is like ushering in a new age of peace and prosperity. It's sad. It's really, really sad that like they can't just accept their child for who they are and instead need to apply all of these other supernatural things to them in order to love them, which is what they should be doing anyway because they're their parents.
Especially in these public schools where it's highly competitive and they are told to sit still and not be creative and just memorize, take tests, and just listen and do what you're told. They take everything really.
Stone Corbell says, a friend of mine in high school had a mom who thought her son was an indigo child, as well as all of us, his friends. I wanted to just say, no, ma'am, we're just autistic.
Personal, and they feel everything with an abundance, and so they are truly the most beautiful souls. But they really needed to crack open the hearts. Like my son Jordan, when I was 23 years old, and I was angry and I was bitter and I was in my shadow side and I was racing cars and I had some really destructive behaviors.
You were racing cars.
If I hurt myself, didn't care if I hurt other people. I was going to fight you before you tried to fight me because I was going to win and you weren't going to hurt me. I wasn't going to let anybody else hurt me because I had already been hurt enough. And then I have this son that comes into my life that is a crystal. And he was like, I didn't even know what love felt like in that capacity. And he opened up so many pathways for me. And I think I needed that because I was so hard and I was so rough and I was so bitter and I was so angry and I hated everybody. And so these crystals come in to make a change and to really make you think a little bit differently and have eyes of compassion, which I didn't have at that time. I was born with it. But after kidnapping, sexual abuse, being bullied, moving around, always being the new kid, having a young mom who kind of was old school. So yeah, I mean, I got, beat a little bit, a lot. I was in trouble a lot. It was hard because I felt like I was a crystal. So then the star kids came after. So they are, anywhere from the age of maybe 8 years old into their maybe late teens, early 20s. Now, just because I'm giving you time frames, that doesn't mean that there aren't crystals that are adults, and there aren't stars that are adults, and there aren't stars still coming in, and there aren't crystals.
Whatever delusion you want. Really, it's like a la carte. Just take what you want, leave what you don't.
Still coming in, but from my experience in the work that I do, this is what I'm seeing, like the trends. So the star children came after the crystals and they're like, all right, we're the worker bees. They're very galactic. So they come in and a lot of them are from Sirius. A lot of them are Lyran engineers. They're Pleiadians. They come from Alpha Centauri, and they really come in and.
All right, we have about half an hour left. I think we need to skip to James's presentation at the very end.
Buying a ticket.
And it was about to happen for extermination.
Here we can be more streamlined and do more, but keep in mind, it's a labor of love.
Just a peach with the $1 tips is I wonder if she means that she was in temporary foster care when she was 2. That would make so much sense with yeah, and a lot of these people think that the foster care system is secretly to traffic children, and she was talking about that. That would make so much sense if that's what she really meant by that, but was couching it in this language. You picked up on that. That's good, Just a Peach. That's really good. Marcel Paul with a 15-stream streak says, ooh, you're so galactic.
Help people. And to this, their own hope is health to pull this off. But if any year, although...
Hey, James, let's go. It's your conference.
Hello again. So, welcome to the show. Yes.
Oh, he's sounding a little better. That's good. At least he's getting over his sickness. I don't like this guy, but he sounded really bad a while ago.
I have helped found this conference and this organization, and sometimes I question my sanity. I know my family asks,
follow that feeling.
Me, why am I wasting time with these super soldiers? And I'm like, well, I guess I don't want what happened to me to happen to them or to you. So a lot of people have been through these projects, been highly traumatized. And let's see if I can get a little closer. So, okay, good. It's working. All right. So I'm going to take my jacket off. It is way too hot. I wanted to look nice on stage for you, but anyway, enough of that. Okay. So, I'm James Rink, and I served in the secret space program. I've served for over 330 years, so if I seem a little out of breath, I am. I was recently hit with a heart attack weapon. They
Did he actually have a heart attack? Obviously, a weapon didn't cause him to have a heart attack. Did he actually have a heart attack? Oh, Jesus, James. Stop with these people. Go spend time with your family. This isn't real. What are you doing?
About 10 days ago, I started blowing up with inflammation, and they took me to the ICU, and they said I have congestive heart failure.
Oh my god, if he dies, everyone that's a part of this is gonna think that he was murdered for putting on the conference. And let me be clear, I genuinely am concerned for James. I don't like him as a person, but it's pretty clear that this is like his beliefs stem from delusion, right? So I'm concerned for him as a person, but taking a step back, if he dies, what is this going to do for the movement? Because there's so many people, and he's very young, so that's such a fucking tragedy. Again, I don't like the guy, but he's crazy, you know? Like, on some level, I just wish he would get help. What is this movement gonna do when their leader dies of a health issue that he's already explaining as a weapon? He's already, oh god, he's priming them. So if he dies, they're all gonna say that they murdered him. That's gonna radicalize them. If there's another person in the group that can step up and organize in his stead, this could galvanize the group in a way that would be terrible for everyone. Oh. This information is concerning to me.
But I do believe that we can manifest whatever we want, and I'm going to manifest it out of my life. But until then, I might be a little out of breath. So if I seem like I am, because it is, I am.
The prognosis of congestive heart failure isn't usually good, especially at his age. It's got to be something absolutely catastrophic.
So, you probably remember Max Spears.
I feel really bad for making jokes implying maybe he was hungover the first day or something, because this is, like, serious.
Here remembers Max, yeah. Oh, God. Geez, 2011. I was working with Max back then. And Max and I, we were discussing what could we do to have...
Is that why he's always been so out of breath during this conference, apparently?
A positive timeline. And, back in 2011...
Shit! I'm gonna have to do a video about all of this.
The whole planet was ready to fall into a giant wormhole or pole shift. Things were just so dark back then. And we made a decision to get the secret space program, Truth.
I guess I didn't notice it in his previous videos. I believe you. I guess I just don't specifically remember it.
Put out there. My relationship with Max was a little chaotic, not to say the least.
Best case scenario, they canonize him within their movement and just incorporate more cardiac-related chilling. Yeah, they could also be like, oh, well, buy our jacket or our sticker. It'll stop you from getting hit by the heart attack gun that killed James.
But I don't want to talk about it in the public forum, but I tell you, unfortunately, he's no longer with us.
Explains why day 4 and 5 orgy videos weren't released. Yeah. I'm concerned for him.
So, for that, Max, I say thank you for everything you've done. Okay. All right. So, I might get a little emotional. Fortunately, there's somebody else that has died, too, I want to talk about. You can donate to my nonprofit, Healing Soul Survivors. All of this is a 501c3 under Healing Soul Survivors. So a donation would really help us out for next year. Thank you. So, okay, let's go on. Now, I
don't think it's a grift, Spokane Dog Man. From what I've seen of James, he's gullible. I don't think he intentionally, maliciously grifts people. I think he accidentally grifts people by falling for them himself and then promoting them. But I don't think he'd just make something up whole cloth. I think he's really, really, really doing badly.
This together in like less than 5 minutes, so the margins may not be pretty, but I really felt like it was important for me to include this into the presentation. Back in 2013, I came to, I was talking to a character, this guy, Ben Murphy here. And Ben had access to this doctor. Her name was Heather Anderson. Heather Anderson worked in an underground base below Baldwin Park, Florida, which is about northeast here in Orlando. So we're going to go into some of that in just a bit. But it's a planned community. Now, I didn't put all the hectares and acres and all this, but what I can tell you, it used to be a military base. Now it's a planned community. It looks like the Stepford Wives. If you watch this old video, you can joke about it because we're like, everything's perfect there. But so the area was originally the Orlando Army Air Station back in 1942. Founded 42, which was a critical training hub.
Mathblade 314, thanks for raiding. Welcome, raiders. We're looking at the Super Soldier Conference. It's a conspiracy conference full of people who believe that they are secretly super soldiers who have spent hundreds of years fighting in space with and against aliens. We, of course, don't believe this stuff. We just like to look at it. We're playing conspiracy bingo, so welcome, welcome. We talk about conspiracy theorists and the strange things they believe, sovereign citizens, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun, so consider following. Thank you, D.D. Wilder, for following. And hello, Mathblade, how was your stream?
During World War II, encompassing vast areas that now include the Audubon Park neighborhood, Fashion Square Mall, and the Orlando Executive Airport. So this area was used by the U.S. military from the World War II era to the mid-1990s. Okay, we weren't supposed to go that far just yet, and this is where I meant by my margins. Okay. All right, so Heather Anderson breached multiple clearances to tell the public the truth that below ground and Baldwin Park in the HE. What's up? Why is it not working?
So here.
God, I
Well,
can't
that's
believe
good
he
that you
still
can
came
see
to
what
the conference.
all the margins.
That's all right. Why don't you just keep talking?
Fashion Square Mall is a common name for malls. I think it might be the name of a parent company that owns them. The mall near where I was growing up was also called Fashion Square Mall, and it's in Michigan.
Okay, so the HD6 facility was, they were taking dead Iraqi soldiers and reanimating them. So
soldiers from Iraq, like American soldiers from the Iraq War, or Iraqi soldier zombies?
They would put something called HGEY wires that would create a state of 0 point through the Kundalini activation. And through that, they were able to, these super soldiers didn't need to eat. They had superhuman abilities. But
where did they get their energy from if they don't need to eat? Are they perpetual energy machines, or do they just, like, filter feed?
The subconscious desire to eat was so large that even though they were getting injections and they didn't need the food,
they inject all their calories. That doesn't sound very fun.
We're always hungry. So there's Ben Murphy and I. And so word came down from higher ups that they figured out a process to clone tissue around titanium bones.
cloning on the bingo card, or rather clones on the bingo card.
And the original soldier, the reanimated soldiers, were slated for extermination. So, according to Heather Anderson, they were dumped into a vat and extracted for their omega-6, and that was sold as Merck Pharmaceutical omega-6. We went over this. So, I'm not going to go into all the different project names under the Clean Heather 1 material on Project Camelot, but Ben Murphy was originally working with Carrie Cassidy. But anyway, so there were other projects too having to do with portal technology. They were teleporting, portaling super soldiers into a higher density.
Dimensions beyond our own on the bingo card.
And what happened is when the body was thrown back charred, with one of the reptilians said, don't come back. But okay, so unfortunately, Ben had a little flechette in his heart, and he was dying. And I did a fundraiser to try to raise the money to help him. He was from the UK, living in the US, so didn't really have access to any of our health care.
Jesus Christ.
But
imagine you're from a country with universal health care, but you happen to be in America, so it's just like, well, guess I'll die.
We raised money to get the flechette out through a veterinarian, and he died on March 31st. So, and that's the price a lot of people pay. Now, before he died, he handed me some audio tracks from Heather Anderson to deprogram super soldiers, and I'm not going to play that for you because I know I was told not to release those anytime soon. But if you want them, message me and I will get them to you. Okay. All right. We're going to just go on here. My presentation is about the Secret Space Program 101. This is more of a lower grade presentation because it's easier for me to go in. The super soldier stuff is just really tough for me. I don't, even though I am a super soldier, I don't really enjoy talking about all this stuff, but we're going to skip Tartaria.
I hate to say this too, and I don't mean this anything personal against James. If he does pass away from this, oh my God, it's almost like, you know how some historians think that the Nazis might have lasted longer in the war if Hitler had successfully been assassinated because he was just so incompetent at being a leader that, like, he actively harmed the Nazi cause? James is kind of like that, not only in the sense that he is actively a revisionist when it comes to the Holocaust, though he is, he's incompetent, right? And again, I'm not trying to be mean to James here. I just mean he's not very charismatic. So in a weird way, if he's no longer the figurehead of the community, it might actually help them, along with the galvanization caused by his passing. They're going to perceive it as an attack from an enemy, so they'll be galvanized, and there'll be an opportunity for a more charismatic leader from their ranks to come up and start supercharging this. That's not good. That's not good.
We're going to just talk about the Secret Space Program. So by the end of this presentation, you should have a general overview on how effed we are. Let's go on, guys. We're going to skip that Prussia. Okay, we're going to go back to early Secret Space Program.
I don't know who would be considered second in command. Like, I don't know if James has, like, a right-hand person or what.
So some of this material was channeled or remote viewed, and I just want to give that little
There's no clear air to my knowledge.
But what we're finding is the early Secret Space Program, never mind Atlantis, Tartaria, and all that. We're going to
Atlantis and Tartaria on the bingo card.
Start in the 1850s. There were a group of Prussian scientists who eventually settled in the United States, but they were working with portal technology that they received through trade agreements with the tall whites. And they had access to underground facilities.
Aliens did it on the bingo card for giving the scientists portal tech.
Below Prussia, by the way, that's where Germany, that wasn't called Germany back then, but
people know what. No, they don't. Never mind.
So they were able to settle many colonies throughout the breakaway.
I forgot he was talking to a room full of Americans.
As early as the 1850s, including areas on Mars, also on Ceres.
What are tall whites? Aliens. Anunnaki, I believe. Aliens is what they consider them to be.
Ares Prima, Venus, planet Vulcan, which is real, by the way. Vulcans are real. Okay.
Predictive programming on the bingo card for saying that Star Trek is real.
Who here has heard of NIMSA? No? NIMSA? Okay, good. We got one person in the audience. So NIMSA is a group of scientists, these Prussian scientists, that were working with beings from Mars, off-world. And they also have connections with the pre-Adamites and Antarctica. So they set the grounds for the original Nazi philosophy. Okay, let's go to Sonora Aerospace Club. So a working prototype of the actual, that's the next slide. Okay, so many of the Prussian scientists were settled in area, Sonora, California, where they worked under NIMSA to create the Arion. Arion was, let's see if I got some artwork for you to see here. The Arion, that might be better right there. Okay, so right before we had a timeline reset, we were all ready to switch from the blimp technology to more of a free energy technology. And it was about to happen. Of course, that was taken away from us, the whole Tartarian blimp timeline. But this technology was shown to the public.
Yeah, they think in alternate universes, most of them have blimps, which is kind of funny because that's a TV trope. The idea that when you're in an alternate universe, there's blimps. I've said this before, but they're very unoriginal and usually steal their ideas from media. Moss Sloth, thanks for 23 months, says, I'm so confused about how this guy had a small metal arrow in his heart and needed surgery from a veterinarian. Yeah, I don't know. This is the link. It's from 11 years ago?
I want to do a video update. I've got a few things I wanted to discuss. The first one is basically Jay At6 is on the line with me.
Rigid airships.
And back in December, well, really, about 6 months ago, we went to Orlando to...
Woo, his audio was crispy back in the day.
To investigate the HG6 facility, which is an alleged underground facility with Ben Murphy. And at that time, Ben has claimed that he's had multiple attacks on his life. Well, and it has come to my attention just recently that Ben has some kind of he says he has a laceration in his aorta, which I guess would be like a cut in his heart.
His aorta.
And the doctors give him 2 months to live. He says that he can barely get up out of bed, barely breathe. I asked him if he wanted to talk, and he said he just can't even do that. And he doesn't even have a caregiver. He should be in the hospital right now. He doesn't have insurance. He was about to be evicted. And so he is in a really bad situation. We're
America's a nightmare. If someone would let me out, that'd be great.
Trying to figure out. I asked Jay what might be going on, and Jay, you think that possibly he was some kind of fight? I don't know. I haven't talked to him about the specifics behind that yet, but that's a good question to get to. Oh, okay. Now Ben just wrote me. He said
Yeah, I don't know that he got in the fight. I was asking, I was asking you if you got in the fight, but see, what confuses, the thing that would be confusing about that is I'm seeing a blade go into him, and this is not a normal looking blade, and it's very clean, very surgical, very sharp, and then
okay, he's using psychic ability to claim that he was cut, so that's just bullshit. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Public. They had a more conventional unit, which was lower technology, and a more advanced unit, which was the NIMSA and the Sonora Aerospace Club were working on.
All right, we're getting close to the end of the stream. We definitely don't have time to watch all of James's presentation, which is frankly not that good anyway. So let's just see how he closes out, and then we'll call it a night.
Of course, the Germans had their memory eraser technology, but the Americans wanted it too. So through a interrogation, through a new Schwablender, the Americans, CIA, KGB, were able to get a hold of unit. And when the
unit, as in the fictional organization from Doctor Who?
The Germans, when the Germans found out, they retaliated because, again, the Americans are only allowed to have theory, not technology. So they put golf balls in the vents. That's how Chernobyl.
If he had a heart issue, wouldn't they have used a med bed to fix whatever was wrong with him? A decade ago, med beds were not a popular conspiracy theory, and that's when the guy died. James might try it. I would not be surprised if he ends up going to Sean's, because he's been to Sean's medbed center before. So it wouldn't surprise me if he makes his way at some point to Sean's medbed center to try and heal himself.
Blew up, but also the Challenger as well was another attack. But let's go on here. So they were always worried about this cowboy causing a nuclear war, so they gave him a unit. They gave him one after this. Oh, I don't think I may have pushed something a little too far. Okay. By the 70s, the Draco refusal rights had come to an end. The technology the Germans could keep of the technology they had. So again, the breakaways built up more and more. And let's just go on here. Okay. So now we have something called the ICC that starts to appear around the 1970s. This is the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate. Just imagine taking all the world's largest corporations and just running everything, right? I mean, there was a zombie movie made about that. So that's essentially what's running the secret space program, a bunch of planetary corporations through mobster families. The Triumvirative is run through meetings on the moon. Some of the ICC partners, many of these, the food.
Ooh, Pepsi. Yeah, you guys can't see, but listed as ICC partners are Citgo, Nintendo, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, BlackRock, and of course, Pepsi.
According to John Whitberg, anyway, those bananas may be from a food replicator. It very likely could be, but a lot of these different technology. I think only one on this list.
Imagine you get abducted by the government and become a super soldier, and like they only have Pepsi. They don't even have Coke for you. I'd be so mad. I'd be like, you better get a freestyle machine in here right fucking meow.
Oh gosh. Wayland Corporation does not exist on planet Earth. There's another one.
Wayland being a company from the Alien franchise, as in Wayland Yutani.
On here, Theodore and Marshall. Has anybody heard of that one? Okay, so that's an off-world shipping corporation. But most of these large corporations have a presence off-world, including BlackRock and Vanguard. So very likely they could drop a neutron bomb on a planet that they want to get a hold of, wipe out the locals, and Vanguard could set up
It's all just cola. There's not difference. I'm going to assume you said that very specifically to try and elicit a rant out of me, and I refuse to take the bait, darling Dr. Lamb Chop. I will simply say you are wrong, and leave it there.
All right. I guess we didn't talk about the MMF, the Merchant Marine Fleet, but unfortunately, human trafficking is a huge issue out there, and
didn't RC Cola win the Cola Wars? American obesity won the Cola Wars.
The secret space program is built on human trafficking. The Merchant Marine Fleet is in charge of moving those bodies around, so you can have personal units with the asset could be placed in stasis with its own med bed, its own food replicator.
I'm just joking, darling Dr. Lamb Chop.
And
don't leave.
And essentially the slave.
I always push people away from me. What are you gonna do?
It could be used over and over again, or it could be used for food. Weapons and technology is another big trade out there. Let's go on. Okay, so this basically states that the Germans' 5-year, trade programs quickly increased to 20 years, 60 years.
Oh, that's tough, Altered Undying. I'm gonna take a stab in the dark. Blade Runner? I don't know. Probably not. There's no drugs in Blade Runner, right? Just replicants. I don't know.
In my case, I served for 330 years. Initially, a lot of these assets were used for slavery.
Oh, I've actually never seen Johnny Mnemonic, so I couldn't have gotten that one.
Now only very few are, but there's a lot of problems out there. You're always going to need a super soldier. Okay, so we have the JDCF based on the moon. So this is part of the ICC's branch of military. So they're like the Cabal wing to spread the Cabal's secret space program. Oh, didn't have to get in. Am I? Do I need to shut it down?
Yeah, close it down. Wrap it up. Take something real cool to talk about. Wrap it up. What's your favorite slide?
Okay, so we're gonna have to wrap this up. But guess what, guys? We have a solar warden that's through the U.S. Navy programs, and we're gonna have to skip a lot of this stuff. But what I can tell you is the solar warden was part of the U.S. Navy. Now that was all split up into Radiant Guardian and Radiant Glory because there's so much to go. Solar warden guards our solar system. We know about the Federation. We're going to skip IDAR for today. We know about the Alliance, right? But we have other groups like Space Force, which is on the ICC Planning Committee. And I believe all these projects are eventually going to be placed under Space Force, and the public's going to be told the truth.
This cannot be good for his health.
Here's the technology, but the truth is they already had it, right? And so many other planetary corporations work.
The Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil is listed. That's a fictional corporation.
With ICC under the umbrella of these different planetary corporations. And that would conclude my presentation. I recommend that you go to Healing Soul Survivors. Please make a donation. And we will all see you here next year then. Thank you all. James Rink, over and out. Was I right over?
No, we're perfect timing. But no, I was going to quickly just 1 minute to announce the draw again.
You want me to pull?
Jesus, he looks like he's doing so bad. He needs to go to a hospital. What is he doing?
The mic hot? Okay.
One second.
Okay.
Just to let you know, we got Rebecca coming up in 1 minute, but we're just gonna make a quick announcement.
Does he think an Umbrella Corporation is Umbrella Corp? Maybe.
Talk about raffle tickets for a great donation, and then Rebecca Rose is gonna come on stage, guys. So hang tight.
Hey, this book. Here's the tickets. But on this book, I only
healing. What's happened on the. And I went, so.
Okay. So that's James. That's the Super Soldier Program conference. It's over. Maybe forever. I was really hoping to turn this into a yearly thing. But this might be the last one, depending on how James is doing. And, you know, jokes aside, I know that we talk about the ridiculous things that his group says, and he has touted a ton of fucked up beliefs. But I do want to remind everyone that James is not right in the head. I'm not excusing the things he espouses or his beliefs. I just think it's fair to point out he's not right in the head. He believes completely delusional things, and I hope he gets better. I don't know how possible that is, given his potential prognosis, but I don't think the guy deserves to go out like that. So, sad to hear that his health issues are as bad as they are. Anyway, so I'll keep an eye on this group. I'll let you guys know any updates on James that I find out. And the Super Soldier group in general. I hope he gets better physically, mentally. That would be nice, but what are you gonna do? So anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what we'll be doing tomorrow. Maybe Sovereign Citizens, maybe VHS. Just depends on what I find. So have a great night, and let's see who we're gonna raid. Cassifel, probably.
Because you.
Love you too, Mr. Blast. Alright, have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow, or whenever you catch the next stream. I am hungry, and need to make food. Alright. Good night, everyone. Be excellent to each other. And don't get caught up in the secret space program. Not good for you. Bye, everyone.